how I know that song? It's because that's about when I go live. I go live right around the 5 minute mark. I give people 5 minutes to get their butts in their seats, and then yeah, I go. That is, like I said, it's Stream Beats by Harris Heller many times. I really like it. And I actually noticed that Kind of Funny uses some of those tracks too in their intro and such. Thank you for watching, everybody. Things have started to stabilize in terms of work-life gaming balance. So that is a good thing that I can report right now. Lots of exciting stuff going on in Destin world. Today on Sundays, though, we talk about video games, and there's been a very interesting conversation going on over the last few days. Not a ton of drama that I can remember. We could talk about the state of play, which, I'm in the camp of, I think the state of play most of the time was totally fine, but people did not like it this time around. I posted a poll just to like gauge how people were feeling about the state of play. And man, there's my poll out there. There's Jeff Keighley's poll. Y'all are brutal. Here's what they posted. Just landed because I was flying for another thing, and have no idea what happened during the state of play stream. How would you rate it? I hadn't watched it yet, and it said A, B, C, D or lower. 44.7% of people did not like it. That's 6,171 votes. Not only that, but Jeff Keighley also posted a similar poll that mirrored the results that I just posted there. I was very, very surprised by the outcome, if I'm being totally honest. Frades, if you want me to, I could talk a little bit more about South of Midnight. I was probably one of the people who was more negative than I expected to be about South of Midnight. It just really, it wasn't quite clicking for me. Spawnwave did a poll also, Filoroni. How did that one come out? I'm guessing similar to how mine came out. And usually I'm an outlier with a lot of these previews where I express a concern. I remember for the Destiny preview, I said, I don't know if Prismatic is going to last long term. I think people might default back to the base abilities. Now, I missed the mark a little bit on that one. My mark maybe should have been instead with Destiny. Once the story wraps up, I don't know if players are going to have a whole lot of reason to continue playing. And that turns out to be the case today. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off track there. The state of play was not well received. And a lot of those games are actually coming to Xbox. They're coming to PC. There were a few exclusives. Anything from Housemark, I am stoked for. I'm really, really excited for the new Housemark entry. And I think that was one of the more positive entries. And I watched it. And for me, it was, even for somebody like myself that is somewhat optimistic about it, I looked through all the games that were revealed, and Xbox does a good job of covering this. They're like, hey, just so you know, we're also getting most of these games too. So Monster Hunter Wilds, Shinobi, Sonic Racing, Like a Dragon, Splitgate, WWE, Borderlands 4, Split Fiction, Directive 8020, Warriors, Abiotic Factor, Onimusha Way of the Sword, and they forgot to mention it, but Onimusha 2 is also coming to Xbox per the official website. We got a Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater release date, which is in August, and we got a Borderlands 4 release date, which I believe they said was October. I have a separate sheet I'll open in a second with the information. Hell Is Us looks really cool. Liza P, Tides of Annihilation, Metal Eden, which I thought was the Bungie shooter marathon, and apparently a lot of people did. And then Mind's Eye, Blueprints, Darwin Paradox, Digimon, Storytime Stranger, Lost Record, Bloom and Rage, and more to come. So long story short, a lot of those games that we did see during the state of play are also coming to PlayStation, or also coming to Xbox as well as PlayStation. And I think that's totally fine, totally understandable. One of the things that I think I want to start doing is I'm just going to start doing a newsletter, because I do this recap every Sunday, and I realize I'm like, why don't I just like write little paragraphs about everything that happened during the week? So this week, the plan is sometime after the stream or this evening or maybe Monday morning, I'm going to do a weekly recap newsletter. I know everybody's doing newsletters right now. I'm just going to do it for free. The newsletter is going to be totally free. It's going to go out on Patreon. I'll link to the Patreon page to anybody who subscribes on Patreon for free, and it'll be a recap with sources. I like to do this on my news stories also. So I'm just going to have the newsletter. If you want to sign up for it, just sign up on Patreon and it'll go out to you. So that's sort of my plan. If I can figure out a newsletter service, I will link to that. But initially, it's just going to be on the Patreon, right? So then if people want to support, they can support it, whatever tier they want to. No pressure there whatsoever. But this week, some of the notable stuff that happened were the PS5 console sales, the PlayStation State of Play recap. There's been a big conversation about the PlayStation 5 consoles sold. The South of Midnight previews went out. The Avowed reviews went out. Xbox revenue was sort of discussed in comparison to PlayStation. There were some Ubisoft updates just off of the top of my head. I did have a super chat earlier from Aaron Wyatt, who said, any updates on Steam being on next Xbox console? No updates. I don't think anybody asked Phil Spencer that question. There were two good questions asked during the Xbox era interview, and I'm going to paraphrase them because I'll go back and pull the actual quotes later. But Phil Spencer during the Xbox era interview, and if Nick's still here, good stuff, guys. We're being honest and transparent about what we're shipping. People should know the storefront where we ship our games. He said, I would love to make all of the money, but Xbox games on PS5, I'm not trying to move all of them over to Xbox. That quote I saw making the rounds. And I don't want every game to become some big live service game at about the 2015 mark. I think that was one of the strongest quotes that I actually didn't see anybody pick up, Nick. It's directly a shot at the PlayStation strategy. And it goes back to something that I was talking about on Twitter. A lot of people see me as anti-PlayStation. I would argue that I think I was mostly anti-Jim Ryan. I did not like Jim Ryan policies. I didn't like that he forced these studios to go all in on the live service game. And we're seeing the repercussions of those decisions that he made now that he's retired and they've done a complete restructuring of the business. So not only did he not get Activision Blizzard blocked, which a lot of people would have been happy about, but Jim Ryan also failed in that he put all of the best teams on live service games, including a God of War live service game. And we've seen the follow-up from that. These people put 3 or 4 years of their life into these games, and then they find out, oh, well, that's done. We just got to reboot. Diablo, if I'm anti-PlayStation, why would I buy a PlayStation? Like, if I want PlayStation to fail, why would I actively cover PlayStation? Why would I do an unboxing of the PlayStation 5 Pro and show people how to set it up? Why would I buy a PlayStation 5 Slim? Why would I play God of War Ragnarok on the hardest difficulty and beat Na with a no-hit run? I beat Na like 7 different ways. Is a fantastic fight. Why would I give Returnal one of my Game of the Year contenders? Why would I talk about how well the Spider-Man Miles Morales performs and interview the developers and talk about how great the developers are and how they're one of my favorites of all time? If I truly hate PlayStation, why would I do all those things? Returnal was fantastic. I'm excited about the next Housemarque game. I've been very clear that I don't like the corporate policies of PlayStation, but I do like PlayStation. If that can make sense to you, I like PlayStation games. I like the development studios that work at PlayStation. I play where the games are, and if it's a PlayStation exclusive, I'm going to play on my PlayStation 5. Period. So, no, I just wanted to address it real quick, Marcus B. And I know people always say to ignore it, but I think because of the way that I've done coverage on this channel, a lot of people have clipped me from the more negative skewing PlayStation stuff. Of course, they never clip me saying Returnal is borderline my Game of the Year. They never clipped me saying positive things when I was at IGN about all of the PlayStation games. They just do like slow pans of my face and such to get a rise out of me. And honestly, I think it's a little silly, if I'm being totally honest. Cypher says, as much as the comments say Xbox is dead, Microsoft is the only company supporting game preservation, even old games. By the way, thank you for what you do. Well, thank you, Cypher. I'll give you a heart on that one. I do appreciate it. So yeah, I wanted to be straight. And earlier this week, I was stuck in an airport, so I was tweeting more than I normally do, sort of talking about a lot of my stances, because people have been rightfully saying, well, you said this. And I'm going to be very clear. I was wrong about a lot of the stuff that I thought that Xbox would do when they purchased Activision Blizzard. I thought they would make the games exclusive. They didn't. I thought we would continue down the path of Xbox having exclusives and PlayStation having exclusives. And my theory was, for a long time, that, well, if Xbox has a lot of exclusives, and I look at the IPs for Xbox and I look at the IPs for PlayStation, and I'm thinking logically about it. I'm like, this is going to be good. These companies are going to compete with each other. It'll drive Xbox forward. And Xbox just didn't have that in their plans. So I was wrong, period, about that data point. And here's the thing. If you want me to go back through all of every PlayStation fan's tweet, you don't think I'm going to find a mistake that they've made? Colin Moriarty just did a great video about how he's been wrong about PlayStation. Like, he went all in on the Vita. Like, he's made mistakes too. It's about admitting when you make a mistake and saying, okay, there's new data. I'm going to move forward from here about it. But I mean, if you want to dwell on what I tweeted 4 years ago, I mean, that's your prerogative, you know? Go for it. Knock yourself out. But I'm going to keep talking. Well, I don't need to put the headphones on yet. I do like the headphones, though. Let's talk, though, about how well PlayStation's doing, because we are going to talk about that a little bit, because PlayStation is knocking it out of the frickin' park in terms of console sales. I'm very, very impressed about where they are. Phil Aroni, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I have to change the animation. It's just the default animation, but thank you so much, Phil Aroni. I do greatly appreciate it. I was thinking about doing something on the iPad, but I haven't figured out how to integrate that into the stream in a way, because I used to do the whiteboard. And yeah, Real Sergeant Tom, good to see you. So let's talk about PlayStation. PlayStation has sold 75 million consoles. Now, that's Shinobi talking about it here. He's saying PS5 has best ever holiday period, reaching 75 million consoles shipped. Details Q3 2024 results, October to December 2024. PS5, 75 million consoles shipped, nearly in line with PS4 at this point. 9.5 million consoles in the quarter, second best Q3 on record, and the best quarter ever for PS5. Hardware is up 16% year on year from 2023. Game and Network Service Division were up 12% year on year. Operating income profit jumped 37%. PS5 shipped 20.2 million in 2024, and the PS5 Pro did a really, really good job of helping bolster that sales. Hiroki Totoki even said as much. He said, oh yeah, the PS5 Pro ended up doing better than I thought. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds in terms of like sold versus shipped. So I see chat sort of talking about that right now. Some people are saying shipped. Some people are saying sold. Let's look at the earnings report. So here's what this is the official earnings report from Sony. Now it says PlayStation 5 hardware and software unit sales. So it's sold. This is how many they sold. PlayStation 5 hardware and software unit sales. So I'm not sure. I don't know why you think I did something with my pants. But anyway, PlayStation 5 hardware. This is the number 20.8 million for the financial year 2023. And then do I have the wrong report? This is the new one, right? Let me just check the date on this. Yeah, through December 31st, 2024. So their fiscal year must end during Q3, or their fiscal year is strange. But anyway, this is the number. So that is sold. Sell in, not sell out. Look, let's not get too much in the weeds of that. I don't feel like it's good content, but I hear you, chat. I'll let y'all argue about that. The number that Sony is touting is 75 million consoles have been sold. That's their sell-through number. There's a bunch of terminology that chat's getting into, though, so I'll let them determine that. Now, there's two numbers. Now, if you remember going back to the calculation I was doing for PlayStation 4 versus Xbox, I'll bring up the chart because everybody loves my dumb numbers. I'm probably going to react to one of the videos where somebody was diving into that. For PS4, I was counting the earnings report, and I have the data points here where I'm making the calculation. They were at 75.7 million sold. So they're just under where the PlayStation 4 was. However, VGC is reporting 76.5 million units for the PlayStation 4. So it's either 0.7 by my math, based on their earning reports, or it is 1.5 million according to VGC. I'll have to dig a little bit more into it, but I was collecting all of this information this morning. PlayStation is doing really, really well. And that's great. I'm glad that they're selling really well with their consoles. It is way better than I thought it would be. What have I been saying, though, about console sales? Chat, what have I been talking about with console sales? What am I getting made fun of for when I talk about console sales? Can anybody remember? Is it that the market isn't growing? Thank you. So the PlayStation 5, make no mistake, is doing very, very well, but the console market isn't growing. That's why PlayStation is looking to sell more video game units over on PC. That's why they're looking to sell other ways, including games as a service. And now we have numbers that even with a hugely successful year, the console market isn't growing, which is why Xbox has diversified their portfolio and why PlayStation is looking to diverse their portfolio also. Now, here's what's really interesting about that. I thought, oh man, like we constantly talk about how Xbox is doing poorly in hardware. Make no mistake, Xbox hardware is not selling well. The numbers have been all over the place. Derek is saying that they've sold 35 million. My math puts them closer to 29 million. Excuse me. I had estimated 30 million for 2024. The Take-Two earnings call put them at 29 in November. We're going to watch a video probably after this segment where somebody went over the numbers and crunched them all, and it puts them way up. Let's assume the truth is somewhere in the middle. Let's say Xbox is at, I don't know, 32.5 million, right? I think they're at 30. Kevlar says Xbox is at 28 to 30. I think they're at 30 for 2024, or they're dang close to it, and I bet they announced that at some point. Maybe not. Maybe another slide will slip. However, if we look at Nico Partners back in 2017, where the Xbox One was, to compare, the Xbox One was at 35. So given the best case scenario of Derek's numbers over at Tweaktown, they're selling about the same as the Xbox One did, which is not good. That is not a good data point. Or if you go by my most generous estimation of 32.5 million, and it's a total estimate, their console sales are stagnant or declining. PlayStation echoes that same statistic if you compare it to PlayStation 4. Make no mistake, 75.7 million units sold, or 75 million PlayStation 5 sold is huge. That is great. They can definitely start making PlayStation 5 exclusive games now because they have an opportunity to sell to that many more people. But it's still less than 75.7, which shows that the console market is declining. And people throw Nintendo in there. Nintendo launched, I believe, in the middle of a console gen. And then they just said, we're just going to stay on through the whole next console gen. So it was really, really interesting in terms of their strategy. And their max sell-through was, I think they're around 140 million worldwide right now. And Nintendo's sort of in their own house. But it's just true. Games are more expensive to make. They're not selling as many consoles. They need to look at new revenue targets, right? I don't think console is going to go away anytime soon. You have a very dedicated fan base. Like, look at the numbers from PlayStation. Look at how dedicated the fan base is on PlayStation. Let's read these numbers again from Shinobi. Hardware's up. Operating income profit is up 37%. 45% of PS5 buyers were new users. Monthly active users are up by percent. They did have a decline there. That's been sort of all over the place. They're up on everything. And in terms of console players, they're one of your highest sell-throughs on PlayStation and on Xbox. So I was curious, like, where does this put Xbox and everything? And Derek's been tweeting a whole bunch of numbers, but I found this one particularly interesting. This is really, really interesting. Based on data provided by each company, Sony commanded approximately 50% of the big three's combined revenues throughout calendar 2024. This is data provided by Microsoft. So we actually have a data point we can look at. So PlayStation is at 30.8 billion in 2024. Xbox, the brand that everybody says is failing, that's doomed, that just can't get it together, they're at 22.7 billion with less than half the consoles sold to PlayStation. So $8 billion is a lot of money. 8.1 billion is a big gap, make no mistake. But it's not half. Xbox only sold, most generously, 35 million consoles. That's the most generous data point that you can find for how well Xbox is doing in terms of console sales. And yet somehow they're only 8.1 billion behind Sony PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox. This is exactly what my silly hand graph was about. The companies evening out in different ways. Now, I thought they would do it differently. I thought they would have exclusives. I thought they would do things differently. But the fact of the matter is, it seems like they are much closer than I would have expected. I thought, if you read about the Xbox like earnings calls and the Microsoft earning calls, it sounds like Xbox is done. But then you look at the data of what they're doing in revenue, they're pretty dang close to where Sony and PlayStation is, which is surprising to me, to say the least. Diablo says revenue is not profit. You're correct. But this is the reported revenue for both. If I said profit, I apologize. Let me make that correction now. We're just talking about revenue. I don't know the profit margin of these companies. But it's still pretty impressive that with less than half the consoles sold of PlayStation, they're only they're close. They're the second biggest. Sorry. Based on data provided by each company, Sony commanded approximately 50% of the big three's combined revenues throughout calendar year 2024. PlayStation did 30.8 billion. Xbox did 22.7 billion, and Nintendo did 8 billion. So that's a combined revenue of $61.5 billion in the console market. I have to say, that is not... Do you all think that is how the numbers would have panned out? If you look at the sale, like, what's the number we hear about Nintendo? Oh, Nintendo has 140 million consoles sold. You would think Nintendo would be on the top of this chart. You would think that Xbox is on the bottom, but no, Nintendo's on the bottom. It's very surprising, to say the least. That's from January to December 31st, according to Derek, and these are numbers provided by, well, he highlights, let's look at his sources here. Newzoo Global Games Market Report 2024 and company filings. Yeah. Commenter, 23 to 31 billion revenue is insane for Microsoft, considering the console sales are 30 million versus 60 million, and now we know it's 75 million. That means Xbox generates about 1.48 times more revenue per console sold than PlayStation. Microsoft needs to come out swinging next gen. They are the best at everything now, but need market to do something or more. Wow, those numbers highlight Sony's powerful presence. What's driving that growth? I mean, console sales, yeah, they're doing great. Can you put each one's profits? That would be great to see, actually. Did anybody comment with it? If only Sony and Microsoft would make them public. Yeah, we don't know the profits. I'm not dying on an Xbox hill. I was just surprised by the number breakdown here, because I would have thought Xbox would have done much worse. Much worse. I don't know, chat, what's your reaction to this? Like, I'm just presenting the numbers to you that I found today. I'm not saying like Xbox is still in second place on this chart, but I would have thought it would have been much worse. This only solidifies my idea of this perception we have about how Xbox is doing terribly online, or at least that we see online. And then we start looking at these numbers and we're like, oh, they still made $22.7 billion. Do you really think they're just going to pack it up and go home? I don't think so. Buy two big publishers and is number 2. Lol. Oh, so Niv is calling out that they bought two big publishers with Bethesda and Call of Duty, and they are still number 2. So that deal closed in October. They're not really recouping that revenue. And you have to remember, I think this is the last Call of Duty game that is part of the PlayStation contract or whatever. They could renegotiate the contract. We're going to see how things pan out in the future, but I think they're doing much better than I expected. Game Pass is about 50 to 60 million. Game Pass is not sustainable. I don't know about that. I think that revenue is counting peripherals, consoles, and games, if I'm not mistaken. That's true for both companies. The Ruam. So there was this other video because everybody was talking about numbers, and I just wanted to watch this. Scott, thank you for the epic tier sub. This was somebody just having commentary. Oh God, I hope I have the right one set up. I do. I don't know if I can move my camera here, but we're going to watch this video.
Microsoft reported Xbox revenue declined 7% because of hardware, while content and services, think games and Game Pass, increased ahead of expectations thanks to Blizzard and Activision. Game Pass saw a record revenue quarter, and PC subs increased 30% year-on-year. Black Ops 6 was the top-selling game on Xbox and PlayStation last quarter, and saw more players in its launch quarter than any other paid release in franchise history. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle reached more than 4 million players, and Xbox Cloud Gaming saw a record 140 million hours streamed. Xbox is expected to grow next quarter by 1 to 3%, thanks to content and services growing between 1 and 6%, offset by continued hardware decline.
Okay, this is like way too much. I think this is purely an Xbox analysis video. I wanted to dive into the console sold, though. Because he dives into why he thinks the number is wrong.
But they still aren't good enough. We know more about Xbox hardware sales than many think, and that data plus official statements from Microsoft give a clear picture of where Xbox console sales.
And just to be clear on this number, the 21 million, that is a key data point because that is official Microsoft data that was provided by them. They slipped it up. They showed it during a presentation, and that gives us a data point as to where they were back in, I think it was 2022.
Think, and that data plus official statements from Microsoft give a clear picture of where Xbox console sales are at now, and are trending to. Real quick, let me debunk that Xbox was only at 22 million at the end of 2023. This is believed because of Take-Two saying that they saw 77 million.
Yeah, and Take-Two did come out and Take Two came out and they actually addressed this and said something about how their numbers were off. However, that is a data point I have on my sheet, which is why my estimate here, I'll show you really quick. It's why my estimate has a range for that time period. Because everybody went crazy with the sheet. Sorry, let me do this one. So I have it from 25 to 27.7 million because Take Two came out, and you can see this is the original earnings report where they talked about console sales. So they did the same thing last year. They said 77 million, and then there's a new Take Two earnings. I haven't linked to it yet, but yeah, it's really an interesting data point to dive into. Can't be small-minded. Microsoft is looking at the future. My kids and students are ages 8 to 18. I don't buy games. They play COD, Fortnite, 2K, and want gaming PCs. Absolutely. That's the thing that both of these companies are looking at. I always thought you were a PlayStation hater, but your content and production is impressive. Here's to hopefully more PlayStation coverage. Cheers. Thanks, Glassdoor Gamer. Yeah, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find like super negative stuff in even late 2024 or 2025. Like, if you go back and you find the video where not Herman Hulse, but like the main guy left. Okay, here we go. This is 5 months ago. I criticized the PlayStation 5 Pro reveal because I didn't think it did a good enough job of highlighting why the PlayStation 5 Pro is good from a technology perspective. I talked about the Concorde failure. Everybody talked about that. I did this Assassin's Creed piece. The console race is over. This is who won and what you lost. I don't even remember what that's about. Xbox just broke another record. PlayStation had a rough week. PlayStation outlines their game plan because that's when the CEO changed. And I think the rough week was about the layoffs and data leaks and stuff. What else we got here? I unboxed the PlayStation 5 Pro and showed how to upgrade it. It's a very popular video. Talked about how PlayStation's making a ton of money. Talked about how people are mad at the Game Awards. PlayStation could buy from software. We know how that one panned out. They didn't. PlayStation is making a PS5 handheld for real this time. Xbox just had big plans put on hold. Oh, Shuhei Yoshida. I did a whole breakout about how great Shuhei Yoshida is and why it's sad that they're losing him as an employee. The war is over. Another is just beginning. This was actually a feature I did direct to cam. PlayStation says AI could revolutionize gaming. I think that's just a story. Here I am talking about console growth being flat, which is true. That's not really a dig at PlayStation or anybody. That's just the truth. PlayStation had a leadership shakeup. And that's it. So, like, that's just the last 6 months. Yeah, I don't know what to do about chat, you guys. But I'm just saying, since Jim Ryan left, I am totally open to whatever PlayStation's got cooking. I'm curious where they're going to go from here. So, yeah, I don't know. People are digging up stuff from 3 years ago to make out of context videos, which is, I think that's a little bit better. I wonder why people are misconstruing Yoshida's answer about remix and remasters. He was talking about the industry, not PlayStation. If you go back and listen to the question, the remake and remaster question was about the industry. I think it's because they're cheaper to make and they have a high profit margin probably. But let's continue on here.
Gen 9 consoles at the end of the year. Where does 22 million come from? People take PS5's shipment life to date of 54.8 million.
Yeah.
Shipments being consoles sent to retailers, and assuming Take-Two was referring to shipments and not sell-through, which is sales to consumers. 77 minus 54.8 gives that Xbox number. This is such a bad take that if you run with it after knowing just a small portion of what was confirmed about Xbox in 2023 or possessing general sales knowledge of the industry, you are not a serious person. We know where Take-Two got this figure from. IDG. And in this same screenshot, it's stated to be 81 million at the end of the year. There is some
Yeah.
argument about whether this meant end of Take-Two's
This is actually going to be good because I can update my number.
financial year or a revised 2023 figure. I have the answer. I managed to get my hands on a genuine IDG report that has their forecast for PS5 and Xbox Series from 2023 actual results.
Real quick, do you guys find this interesting or should I move on? Because I really like this stuff. I find it interesting. I'm curious about it. But if you want to move on to the next thing, we can move on to the next thing. Just let me know.
To 2028 estimated, with a clean graph to pixel count from. IDG for 2023 has PS5 at about 53.8 million and Xbox Series at about 26.6 million.
Great.
Combined are 80.5 million, which fits with the 81 million figure.
This is great. So we actually have a new data point to put onto my chart. So that puts Xbox at 26.6 million. What was my estimate at? My estimate for 2023. Wait, no, I'm confused here. His estimate's lower. 26.6. I was at 25. I was at 25 to 27.7. So he is saying 26.6 million. I'm going to put 26.6. There, we've updated our sheet. Chat says it's interesting, so we're watching it. At least until we get bored.
Figure from Take-Two, sourcing
We're going to get
IDG.
to the Days Gone stuff.
They also have Xbox going over 40 million in 2027 and PS5 over 100 million in 2026. If someone reputable hears this and wants proof of my access to this data, I can confirm it with you on Twitter or Blue Sky, or Discord if you already know me there. I could have posted the graphs, but I would probably poof out of existence for doing so. Plausible deniability for me in the video, and quality news for you. I want to mention that IDG is but one firm that gets sales at.
I really like Ampere. That's where Daniel Ahmad works. He works at Ampere. Ampere's my favorite.
From multiple countries, but they don't have 100% coverage of the market, and just like any estimation, can be off. They thought Gen 9 had 77 million sold by 2023, and 3 months later added 4 million. I'm not here to disprove their estimates, just providing context to a part of the industry that is shrouded in secrecy. With the debunk over, we can talk about the leaks thanks to Microsoft's ABK acquisition found in September.
And I covered this. I covered a lot of this in my console sales are flat video, or my I'm worried about Xbox console sales video. So I've talked about a lot of the stuff that he's getting into. So I actually really appreciate that he gives me a new data point on my graph, because I've referenced that thing so many times, because this is such an important conversation to the gaming community. Like, look, if you want to know, like, what does Destin think about the console market? I think it's not going to grow. Every analyst has said it's not going to grow. I think PlayStation 5 consoles are selling great. I think Xbox is selling less, significantly less than PlayStation 5. I do think that they're behind the Xbox One console generation. But if you look at the revenue that they're reporting, their revenue is up, like, significantly. Glassdoor Gamer says, Destin console market is mature 40 plus years later. People don't say this about phones or PCs if Nokia fails. I don't quite understand your comment, but thank you, Glassdoor. Oh, Daniel Mod works for Nico. My bad. Ampere is Serkan Toto? Is Ampere Serkan? I don't remember.
September 2023, which contained a very important slide. This is what Microsoft says is the Xbox Series market share for a 3-quarter period in FY22. That is from July 2021 to June 2022. Xbox had 46% market share, and that was 9 points higher from a year ago. Thanks to this, with known PS5 shipments, we can calculate Xbox Series shipped 4.6 million by March 2021 and 7.8 million between July 2021 and March 2022. The crazy thing here is that I knew that.
Oh, welfare. No, this is great. Hey, I was like, okay, is this like a fanboy video? But no, you did your homework, man. This is wonderful. I love this because I'm the guy who I made a video similar to this not that long ago, highlighting that I'm concerned about a lot of the figures. And I used that Take-Two report, but I knew the numbers were squirrely. You've given me Oh, sorry, I didn't bring it up. You've given me a much more concrete number. My estimate I had in here was 25 to 27. And guess what? Your data point means my estimates aren't crazy. It's very refreshing to know that I'm not like way off base on this. So thank you so much, Welfare. I really, really appreciate it so much. And I'm curious where you landed on 2024.
This already, years before this leaked. Not because I have some secret insider connection to Xbox, but because I did the work to estimate Xbox shipments. In fact, this same work is what got me to Xbox One at nearly 58 million end of life, years.
Yep. And man, like, I got to show you something. You're going to appreciate this. What do you guess my source is for this number? Let's take a look. Bing! Yeah, you did your homework, man. You did great. This is good stuff.
Before that got confirmed to be the case. I'm coming into this video with more insight than you might expect, but how did I arrive at those numbers? Let's call it the method. Taking the hardware revenue and the assumed price of the Xbox console for the quarter to see if a range of unit numbers are possible within the hardware revenue, along with financial statements provided by Microsoft and any known figures that come from them. The method got me within 1 million of Xbox's final sales.
Wow. Your what do they call it when you have like a range of error? 1%. I think you're closer than I was, because I did 25 to 27.7 and it was like 26 point something. So your margin of error is much better than mine was.
Total after 26 quarters of doing that math. What should have been a massive margin of error was only 1% off. But I will admit that user error is possible.
Yeah.
If I assume incorrectly, such as thinking I underestimated Series S for a period, I could be wrong and, in reality, underestimate Series X. The method does rely on having more information to make more educated estimations. What are the trends these consoles were going through at the time? Will current estimates line up with future estimates? Additionally, we have statements from Microsoft's financials that indicate if hardware revenue changed due to volume or price. I can't go with a number that goes against word of God. After the earning results.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to use that data point, and I'm glad you're in chat. I'll let you know if I have any questions. He's going to be able to use that data point, look at the earning reports per quarter, subtract the percentage that they say to subtract or add, and then get an accurate point for 2024. Now, the data point Derek is saying is around 35 million. I don't think that's right, so I'll be curious to see.
Results on Wednesday.
35 seems way too high.
Every single quarter I'm about to talk about for Xbox Series, not Xbox One, as that would.
Spoilers, my estimate is 30 million. My estimate was around 30 million.
Take forever, but here is FY15 real quick. So without further delay, let's get to it. Xbox Series launch quarter was also the last for Xbox One, which was selling out so fast.
Okay, so he's in 21, 22, 23. We're going to jump ahead a little bit. We're going to look here and see where he's at. See how close I am on 2023.
The decline in the 6-month period can't be as drastic as the quarter decline if it declined at all. Q3 saw the introduction of the Forza X bundle at $559, but the quarter did not see a price increase despite this, and volume declined again. I estimate to 1.2 million. This makes sense for the X to not have a big impact here, as it was still supply constrained. The bundle was an attempt by Microsoft to give more money per X sold, as opposed to outright increasing supply of X. The 9-month if no change is mentioned. Recapping, the year was down in volume with Q1 up, Q2, 3, and 4 down, and the 9-month period was when volume fell behind last year. Comparing to last year, sales have dropped 9%. There's little variance possible given the Microsoft statement to push this 8.
Okay, so he's saying console volume. So he's saying, okay. So 6.5, 9.6, 8.7. Let's see what I had. Do you say a number for 2022? Like, where do you have them at in 2022?
7 million up or down. FY24 is what I would call the pivotal year for Xbox, where we start to see how it will trend for years to come and how that impacted Microsoft's recent moves to becoming a third-party publisher. Volume continued to decline despite an increase in X production, a new 1 terabyte S, and Starfield.
I know about what they
To recap the prior year, total volume declined again, with Qs 1, 3, and 4 down.
Go back a bit. Yeah, I just want to know the number you got for 2023. Let me just bring this up again. So here's 2023. Series total 18.1. You have them at 18.1 for 2023? Is that right? I have the LTD at the start. Okay, life today, series total 18.1. All right. And I had 26.6, so I'm missing something. There's no way that we're that far off of each other.
Q1 of FY 2023, I estimate to be 2 million, as Microsoft says hardware volume increased along with the price. This would mean X had to see a share increase in the range of
Okay, here we go. This seems closer. Shipped 22.1. Is that right? Sorry, chat. So it looks like he's saying 22.1, and I think I had 23. Nope, 23.3. 23.3. And I was at... So my total, based on the Take-Two thing that he says is flawed, was 26.6 for 2023. So I want to see what you land on here. 23.3, 24.8 in June. Wait, all right.
Increase the price. I estimate 1.5 million, with S seeing an increase.
Sorry,
while
Chad,
X
if this is annoying.
stays stagnant. It was announced in June that it's...
Oh, financial year. No, I'm just doing the year. So I'm estimating by the end of 2023, they sold 26. Okay, got it. So you're going to cover that in financial year 2024. July to September. Here we go. So you have them at 30.3 at the end of 2023. Got it. So I'll put 30.3. That's your estimate. All right. Got it. I had them at 26.6. And then the Take-Two earnings call says they sold 2 million units, which to me, I'm just like, what? Like, it just seems so low.
For the first time, had price reductions of varying severity, and S also saw another $50 cut. And none of this prevented another volume decline, from what I estimate. The quarter only mentions revenue was impacted by a shift to higher priced consoles. That's a bit weird. Doesn't mean Xbox sold the exact same. Even with introducing the...
So you have them at 35.9. All right. So, I mean, he did his math. He has them at 35.9. We're going to link to it. And let's hear his closing.
X Digital Edition and 2TB X with a redo of the 1TB S. No price change at all limits this quarter to either 2.5 million or 2.6 million.
Richard said IGN kicked you because Xbox is dead. Look, I don't think Per Schneider said keep kicking ass after I left because I got kicked. Like, come on. Yeah, I can mod you, Nick. 1 second. You can review, put users in timeout. I'll just make you standard. I don't know the difference.
I had to recheck the last two FYs just to make sense of how this quarter
don't go too crazy with it,
shift enough to reach the threshold of being mentioned. But in the end, all it did was shift any one quarter 100,000 units, not substantially impacting the total hardware shipped. To recap, total Xbox Series now, here's what it shipped every fiscal year. And for the calendar years, Xbox Series did not see a typical peak. 2021 and 2022, both at 9.5 million. 2023 seeing a decline of 14%, and 2024 seeing a drastic decline of 32% thanks to the...
Nick, I don't mind people arguing in the comments, but if they're saying anything like racist or sexist or just being like really scummy, like obviously use your best discretion. But I kind of let people argue, like if they want to say Xbox dead, I don't really care, you know? So yeah. Or like PS5 better. That stuff, it doesn't bother me. Yeah. Homophobic stuff's got to go. Thank you.
Weakest holiday quarter since the original Xbox. Xbox One performed far better than this. I estimate it shipped 9 million in its fourth FY, and it was still above 8 million in its fifth. Xbox One holiday performance, I estimate, grew every year after launch for 4 years, while Xbox Series peaked right after launch.
So this is interesting. So he has Xbox Series is the lighter line. Yeah, this does match up with about where I have it. I do think that they are behind the
and
Xbox
declined
One
every year since.
Yeah.
Xbox Series was once projected to hit 59 million, but it will not touch 50 million now. 2025 could ship as low as 4 million units and not touch 40 million total until 2026. Xbox Series was doing better than some thought possible, but recent years have left a black mark on the console's potential, trending far worse than prior consoles and its
It's a
own
great
momentum.
video.
This is not possible to reverse either, as there is no will at Microsoft to fix this decline. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said it plainly on Wednesday. Xbox can't be high margin.
Whoa. Why don't you read it? You should have read it.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said it plainly on Wednesday.
Now on to gaming. We are focused on improving the profitability of the business in order to position it for long-term growth, driven by higher margin content and platform services, and we are delivering on this plan. Basically, dead on what I said.
Xbox can't be high margin while selling products that lose money. Hardware used to be over 30%.
Xbox consoles, the data point is that every Xbox console sold is still sold at a loss in the amount of $100 to $200. And I said that on Unlocked, and Ryan verified it. So I know I'm not crazy. Now, I don't know where they're at today, but there were a lot of issues with components and things. So they are selling that hardware at a loss. They had to change the strategy. They had to. And PlayStation, they've managed to go longer because they have a higher user base with 75 million sold, but they are recognizing we need more Helldivers 2. You know what would be PlayStation's wet dream? If they had 5 more Helldivers 2 games. Like if they had a Helldivers 2 every year, they would be cheering from the rooftops. You read it in a bit? All right. But make no mistake, they're gonna have similar problems.
Xbox revenue every year, but dropped to 20% before Activision and now sits at 13%. And let me say the quote from the CEO: driven by higher margin content and platform services.
Yeah.
Xbox's content and services division. Even if Xbox produced profitable hardware, it would not drive revenue or profit. Hardware is not important anymore in Satya's drive for higher profit margins.
That's true to a point, and obviously you're going to get to something. They're still going to make hardware. They have stated many times that the people who buy Xbox hardware, they spend more and they play longer. Now, I don't think they're going to like not want anybody to play on PC or anything like that, but they're not going to abandon hardware because you're still talking about, like, let's say they match or exceed with whatever the handheld unit is, like a quarter of what they've sold in the console market. Like that seems like a win. Obviously they would want to do more than that. They want to be selling like the Switch, but honestly, I think the Switch 2 might have a harder time on the market right now because you got the Steam Deck, you have all this other competing hardware. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Xbox comes in, but we'll see what happens.
If you made it this far, I hope you liked the video. So hit the like button.
Yeah, you know what? Let's like this video. Boop.
Button if you did. And if you're interested in more of this type of discussion, please subscribe.
I think I already
know
did.
The vast majority of you aren't after my last Xbox video. I hope no one expects me to do something like this every week, though, as
you did, though. You made another one because I watched the other one first, and I wanted to go back and watch this one.
This does take a lot of time and effort to collect data and find ways to present it in a hopefully fast-paced video going over sales data like I did with the last video. I do want to make gaming videos as well. Not watch me play Marvel Rivals, but me talking about games I'm playing and want to play.
Okay. I'm gonna link to this guy's video. Here, go check it out. He's in the YouTube chat. Thanks for watching. I'm kind of surprised to see you here. I did not think that you would be watching. I think it's a great video. I love numbers. I think there's people looking for this kind of content. And if you want to do a little something like that more often, my advice would be do it. Here, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subscribe. I want to see what you're going to keep making. This is good content. It's interesting. It's thought-provoking, right? Yeah, look at this. You just started this channel. You got a video with 8.1K 3 weeks ago, 4.8, 1, 2.4. Stick with the data stuff. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's thought-provoking. It makes people think. Keep it up. You're doing great work. I really enjoyed the video. I like the silly robot. If you could animate the silly robot more, I would be down. Machine learning is going to push hardware for gameplay and NPC, not just visuals. Cannot scale. There are issues with basic cloud software today. So I really, really like the content. Thank you for sharing it or letting me find it. I saw it making the rounds. So you have them at 35.9. I have to watch it again and really look at your numbers for myself. I feel like they would have said something if they broke 30. I don't think they're at 35.9. And if you're using hardware sales, they do include peripherals and such in those numbers. So that is something that you may want to consider. I don't know if you've made I know you made a follow-up about something, but anyway, great video. Good job on the data points, especially for 2023. My question is about where they land. Yeah, you're like 4 million above where my estimate was. And the Take-Two earnings, I put it 26.6, which puts them closer to the 2.6, right? 2.4 million sold for the year. We'll see though. Yeah, I'll do my own due diligence and figure it out from there. But man, it was really cool to see you like, let's talk about the Take-Two report. Let's talk about, like, don't forget, they said those numbers were flawed. So here's some other numbers we can go off of. Here's the math of percentages. So good stuff. Well, there's no official data point, period. Zach, there's no official data point from Xbox. So you're saying 25 to 27.5. My estimate for 2024 is, and this is just estimate, this is just Destin looking at the percentage declines. They said 40% a few times, or like really high percentage declines in terms of hardware. I think they're closer to the 30 number. So like, honestly, with his data that he provided, and like, he's probably closer than I am. I'm just going to put him at 30 for 2024. We need another slip up. Xbox, make a mistake and give us another official data point, because we haven't had one since your June 2023 presentation about your 2022 hardware sales. But anyway, good stuff. I love that stuff. That's like the FTC documents we used to read together and stuff on the channel. So good stuff. Dell says, in your opinion, what should Microsoft do with their next Xbox device to try and make it sell better? Because their current hardware numbers don't seem sustainable. See, I think Xbox has been really smart with the Xbox Series S. We've seen a lot of people complaining that it's a potato and that it doesn't work well, and just being sort of weird about the Series S and complaining about it. But they don't seem to mind optimizing for the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck's doing great. Everybody loves the Steam Deck. Nobody's complaining about the Steam Deck. But you have to optimize for the Series S, and they're like, oh, this whole generation is being held behind by that potato. But let's say Xbox had the 10-year view of what their plan was. Okay, we're going to launch 2 SKUs. We're going to have a Series S and a Series X, and we're going to do a handheld in the future. The reason the Series S becomes very important is because anything that they have optimized to run on the Series S is going to be much easier to put onto that handheld. So they have set themselves up to basically say your whole Xbox library is going to work on that handheld. And that's what Phil alluded to during that interview I did with him in January. So to me, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Why buy an Xbox over a handheld? Windows Diablo. Plain and simple, Windows. If it's a well-optimized custom Windows OS, they have a chance to make something really special. And if they can undercut the competition, I think there's the Razors out there. I don't have one of those handhelds, but there is a good chance that they could be very successful there. Sony will be the iPhone of gaming and Xbox will be the Android of gaming. Face 23 said, thank you for the 20 face. I saw a comparison. Somebody said something like, it was Paul Tassi. He said something like Xbox is Netflix, PlayStation is HBO, and Nintendo is Disney Plus or something like that. And I think that's a good comparison to how the services stack up. Like Xbox is doing well, but they could be doing better. PlayStation is doing great, but they sort of have a style of content. And then Nintendo, everybody seems to like. And another benefit to them making developers optimize for the Series S, now that the Switch 2 is coming along, guess where all those Xbox games can go day one? Probably right onto the Switch 2. So I did a whole video on IGN about how you can dual boot Windows, like how to do it. The guide video that is in the wiki on IGN, it's my video about how to install Steam Deck Windows OS. At the time, it's like a year old, so it's probably a little bit easier now. But yeah. Good luck trying to make Destin understand. Custom APIs can go a long way of giving you incredible difference in tools and performance that's better than more expensive alternatives. What did Glassdoor say? What did I miss from Glassdoor? Anyway, I think there's a big problem right now in the video game industry with developers optimizing their games in that they're not doing it. I think games like Monster Hunter is a big game in conversation right now because it's so poorly optimized. They have it right now where, oh yeah, you can run at 60 frames per second, but you have to run the game at like 540p native, and that's being upscaled. Like Unreal, there's a lot of videos about how Unreal has kind of gotten problematic with how they allow things to be upscaled. I've seen a few of these videos, and it is a little concerning. And then you have a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you pop it in, and it just kind of works. It makes me really miss when a team has a lot of money, like and the people I'm being critical of, it's like Capcom. Capcom has a very high profit margin, and their games aren't the best optimized. I would love to see a reinvestment and optimization of your titles, because I've always said this. I think there's a disparity in between what gamers actually want and what developers are delivering. Gamers say that they want native 4K 60. They don't even know what that would cost in terms of development. So they don't understand what they're asking for, right? And then devs are like, oh no, we got to give them 4K 60 native. It's got to be native 4K graphics at 60 frames. How are we going to do this? Don't listen to them. Do what you think is best for your game. Returnal, you know what Returnal runs at? 1080p. And it is upscaled to 4K. Native 1080 60 should be the target. The floor, like that should be the bottom target. And you should up-res from there. I think going lower than that is problematic. I think 1440 60 would be nice. But honestly, I think 1080 60 should be the target versus native 4K. Native 4K is just, it's not realistic. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Sony shipping 9.5 million units during the holiday queue while Xbox hardware dropped 29% shows it's an Xbox problem, not a demand problem. I mean, do we know? Do we know the final quarter of Xbox for the holiday quarter? We don't. We don't know the final quarter yet, Face, do we? Yeah, I don't think we know. Phil Roney, I know the video you're talking about. Yeah, ray tracing is another piece of technology that's completely not necessary. Let's move on a little bit. We kind of talked about consoles the whole time. There's a lot of other things that we've had to talk about. Let's talk about something a little bit happier. Let's talk about something happier for just a second. Alan Wake 2 has sold over 2 million copies and is finally profitable. I just want to say that I really, really appreciate that Alan Wake 2, the team behind Alan Wake 2, had a vision for what they wanted to make with that game. They stuck with it, and they're finally profitable. I really, really appreciate that, because you know what most companies would do? They would shut down. Alan Wake 2 came out what? It took almost a year for them to be profitable. Illegal Nod says, then why did I spend $10K if not for Rays of Light? $10K on a computer, that is. Yeah. And what do you play most of the time? PUBG, Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six. What are the most popular games? I dropped $10,000 on my computer. Illegal Not's being facetious, but well, maybe he did spend 10 grand. But at the same time, what games are most people playing? Avowed. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing games that aren't graphically intensive, is my point. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Alan Wake 2. I really appreciate that they really stuck with their guns. Face 23, thank you so much for the super chats. I do appreciate it. Uh-oh. Daniel? Mama's there. One sec. I think they're okay. I think they're just fighting about something. I just heard Daniel yell at his brother and then the little baby cry. But Mama's there. Sorry. My dad ears are on. I got to make sure the kids are okay, or I got to stop the stream. Okay. Kids are okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Train of thoughts coming back in. Do handheld sales count as overall console sales? Not for PlayStation. PlayStation has a line item for that specifically. Sorry, I had to turn on dad ears for a second. I want to be clear about something real quick, though. Thinking about it, do we think that consumers are do we think exclusives are anti-consumer? I understand them from a business perspective of you want to move hardware. I do think that they're an old idea. And I do think that we're going to see fewer exclusives in the future. There's quotes from Phil Spencer like years back saying something along the lines of, I find it completely counter to what gaming is about to say that part of that is to lock people away from being able to experience those games or to force someone to buy my specific device on the day that I want them to go buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. Now, he said that years ago, and he was panned for it. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Like, are exclusives anti-consumer? I think buying third-party exclusives, like Final Fantasy, or when Xbox did it with Call of Duty, buying third-party exclusivity, I hate that stuff. I think that's tremendously anti-consumer. I think if you own a game studio, if you're Xbox Game Studios and you make an Xbox game that launches exclusively on Xbox, I understand why you would make that exclusive. Or if you're PlayStation Studios or Sony Santa Monica and you make God of War Ragnarok and that launches exclusively on your platform, I think that's totally understandable. I understand why you do it. Is it a more negative experience for the consumer that they need to play on that hardware? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. And I'm looking at a tweet I said in the past, and I'm thinking about it more. I think exclusives are bad. If you think about it, like, if I want to play on my Switch, I would love to play everything I can on my Switch. And oftentimes I have hacked my Steam Deck so that I could play stuff I'm not supposed to be able to play on my Steam Deck on my Steam Deck. And I'm just talking about like Destiny 2. You can't play Destiny 2 on your Steam Deck. Exclusivity is part of good business. It's not exclusive to gaming. Far from it. Yeah, true. Like I can't run a lot of Android apps on my iPhone. Things like that. But does that improve my experience? No, I don't think so. I think Xbox is working to eliminate it, at least within their ecosystem. And I think at the end of the day, if I really think about it, I'm like, is it a good thing that, let me ask you another way. Is it a good thing that Xbox owns Activision and PlayStation gamers can play Call of Duty? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think you know what I think. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that PlayStation gamers can still play Call of Duty now that Microsoft has bought Call of Duty? It's good, right? Is it a good or a bad thing now that Xbox bought Bethesda that Indiana Jones is going to come to PlayStation someday? Is that good or bad? It's fantastic, somebody said. It's good. Is it a good or a bad thing that PlayStation paid Square Enix money to make Final Fantasy exclusive to PlayStation? Does that help Square? Does that help Xbox gamers that want to play? Zake says, why is Redfall still exclusive? Redfall was a colossal failure for Microsoft. Do you really think that they should invest a couple $1 million to make sure it goes over to PlayStation 5 where it's not going to sell because it was widely panned? We hit our goal, by the way. We're going an extra hour. Villaroni says, I think like Blade, where we never seen any Xbox logo on it, I don't think we should have game/IP that is under license be restricted. I would love to see Spider-Man on Xbox. And I think in a roundabout way, that's what they're going to do. Exclusives equal competition. Competition is good for consumers. Joe makes a good point. Joe, I think you also make a good point, because if there's like an exclusive Halo game or an exclusive Gears of War or exclusive Spider-Man or Last of Us, that gives you reasons to buy the hardware. The problem is and this is the bigger picture that I've been thinking a lot about. The bigger picture is, as we talked about today, what's happening with the hardware market? It's not growing. The hardware market isn't growing. All right, I'll put another 1 hour. I'll add another hour to the stream. And that's the problem that they're running into. So they have exclusives, and they know their profit margin, and the hardware is getting trickier to develop for. Optimization takes more manpower. Wages are going up. The cost to make games in some ways is going up. In some ways it's going down. But because the console market isn't growing, it's sort of hit that. I don't remember what the total sell-through is. I think it's like 200-300 million. But anyway, like the PlayStation 5, they're probably going to sell, I don't know, 100 million units. Let's say they cap out around 100 million units. Where did the PlayStation 4 cap out? PlayStation 4 capped out at 114 million units. So let's say that the PlayStation 5 caps out at 114 million units. That's not growth. And it's not like money gets cheaper. Consumers aren't going to like suddenly say, oh, please charge me more money. I think it's really crazy when I see people on the internet beg to give more money to billion-dollar corporations. There's always going to be a fight there. Microsoft should open their apps to Linux, but don't. I think that's an issue with the OS. I don't think the OSs play nice together. I don't think that's going to happen. That causes all sorts of problems, honestly. Like you start thinking about like security of infrastructure and things like that. I can't imagine that'd be crazy. Jonathan says, let it go, Destin. Xbox is done. Like it or not, a lot of Xbox players are leaving to PlayStation, including myself. I'm done with Xbox. You heard it here first, guys. Xbox is done, even though they're only $8.1 billion behind in 2024, with less than half the amount of consoles sold. They're done. Jonathan broke the news here, everybody. Xbox is done. Oh, wait, there's a lot of people who aren't leaving. Yeah, Linux is more secure. You're right. I don't think Xbox is done, you guys. If they are, whatever. Like, I'm not going to cry. Who cares? But yeah, we have data points here for 2024. Xbox sold terribly. No, I'm not mad. Xbox sold terribly last year. Like every earnings report is sales are down. Xbox is doing bad. They made $22.7 billion in revenue. So no, I don't think they're going anywhere. I would disagree with your assessment completely. Oh yeah, and then I had some of my tweets brought up here. I was just looking. You know what my big frustration was with the FTC trial? The FTC should be about protecting consumers. That's not what they covered. And this is what I tweeted in 2023. Maybe the FTC would have won if they remembered to actually bring up the consumer during the trial. During closing, they mentioned Sony or PlayStation 76 times. Consumers are mentioned 27 times. Worse, most mentions are because the judge asked them to stop talking about Sony. And Elizabeth Warren tweeted at the time, I applaud the FTC and Lena Khan FTC for defending consumers and staying in this fight. They lost. They had the wrong focus in terms of defense. I think their defense could have been much stronger. I remember saying during the trial, you have to bring up why this will hurt consumers. And they just didn't. Anyway, sorry, I don't know why I had that tweet up. Oh yeah, so here's some of the Xbox era stuff. Phil Spencer, I'm not trying to move them, PlayStation and Nintendo fans, all over to Xbox anymore. The 70% that we make on games on other platforms is helpful to us being able to build great portfolios. Yeah, he sat down with the podcast crew. It's a really great interview. Definitely go check it out. Search for Xbox era. They sat down with Phil. They did a cool little game show at the end, and it was really, really good stuff. I might do a video about that later. Oh, yeah. Jez Corden said something about the handheld. Oh, they quoted me in this. Jez Corden, I can't find the source. I thought it was in this article. But he said that oh, here it is. I found it. Here's what Jez Corden said about that handheld, by the way, since people were asking. To that end, I've recently been told that Xbox's next-gen console hardware has now moved past its early pitch stages and has been fully approved and coasted all the way up the chain. I doubt we'll see a reveal of their hardware strategy anytime soon, but what is perhaps more interesting to me is how Xbox will seek to entice developers to support its efforts on PC. So far, developers have completely shunned the Microsoft Store for delivering their PC games, which doesn't seem sustainable if Xbox is to maintain its own ecosystem. That's a good play. That's a good point and a good play on Jez's part. So it is interesting to hear that the console hardware is moving along. Sony PlayStation will go bankrupt after Concord and live service failure, says Travel Star in chat. No, like $200 million to $400 million, that's a massive loss for PlayStation. Make no mistake. And I do think it's making them scrutinize every single decision that had come down the line, so to speak. And they're really looking at every game. They got him to talk about Everwild. Yeah, that's true. They're really looking at every single game in that live service pitch. I see you, Pukador, also there, and Marcus and everybody over on Twitch. Thank you, everybody, for watching on Twitch, by the way. Just a reminder, if you do want to support, you can use a free Amazon Prime sub if you want to. But just throwing it out there. Thanks for watching. The Twitch numbers are lower than YouTube. Like YouTube, I have 500 concurrents usually when I do these streams. Really appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. Twitch numbers have been slowly growing also. We're at 17 right now. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Ubisoft CEO plans to focus on open world and live service games. Now, this is from WCCF Tech, and they are talking about what is going on YouTube. I got to be honest with y'all. Going on at Ubisoft. It's been kind of crazy. I don't really have... Before we move on to that, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of where consoles are? I'll just say this. My reaction to the whole thing is PlayStation is knocking it out of the park. They're doing really, really smart stuff. I am concerned about their exclusive lineup. We have Ghost of Yotei this year. I'm very excited about the new Housemarque game that I can't remember the name of. It starts with an S. I'm sure as we see more marketing, we'll learn about it. But I really would like to see a stronger lineup from PlayStation. I think Xbox has a very strong lineup. Is it Soren? Sauron? Wow, Face with the $50. Yes, consoles are stagnant. It's a mature platform. The hardware market is not growing. For Xbox, Microsoft buying Activision destroyed its exclusive ecosystem. Now it will rely on PlayStation and Nintendo to drive further revenue forevermore. But I think, Face, thank you for the 50, by the way. You're throwing a lot of money around. I appreciate it. Missed ML Super Chats. Oh, sorry. Let me bring that up really quick. Sorry if I missed your super chat. I'm going to take a second to address the super chats really quick. Let's see here. Glassdoor said Linux is more secure. Yep, I saw that one. Microsoft said open the app to Linux. Joe covered Joe. Talked about Philorones. I don't think I missed any, did I? Do hardware sales count as overall console sales? I don't know, SDO. I think I got them all. If I missed any, sorry. Lost Soul Aside looks really good. PlayStation has some pretty interesting... What did I say? So in my write-up in the newsletter I talked about at the top of the show, they have a few exclusives. Days Gone Remaster coming to PC. But the thing is, I feel like I just got the PC version of that game anyway. So I'm sort of like, whatever on that one. Soros. It's Soros. Like Sauron. But Soros. And Lost Soul Aside. I'll just read what I wrote real quick. Whoops. Wrong tab. I'll read what I wrote in my my newsletter that's going to be I'm making a video for. PlayStation had a state of play that most people on X seem to dislike. Now, I've always enjoyed these streams as we get a peek at a ton of games coming to all platforms and also coming to PlayStation over the coming months. Some of the bigger games coming from PlayStation include a Days Gone Remaster, which will launch April 25th and will probably make a few gamers happy, even if they already have a rather solid PC port of this game. In addition, the developer behind one of the best games of 2021, Returnal, revealed their next title. Soros will be the next title from Housemarque, and yet again, Sony PlayStation has decided to reveal their next game through a series of CGI shots that give us no idea what gameplay will be like. That said, it's Housemarque, and even if it's a fraction as cool as Returnal, they've got yet another winner on their hands. And I'll give the nod to Last Soul Aside. which is launching on PC, PS4, and PS5, but it looks really, really freaking cool. Now, let's talk about the things that are not only going to PlayStation, but also to PC and Xbox. Shinobi made a comeback as a side-scrolling action game launching on August 29th. In addition to those reveals, we also got a date for Borderlands 4 launching September 23rd, 2025. Borderlands 4 also teased that they would have a deep dive this summer as part of a special state of play from Sony. Borderlands 4 will also come to Xbox. Onimusha Way of the Sword releasing in 2026 also teased some gameplay that looked pretty average, if I'm being honest. The game is still a year out, though, and they also teased Onimusha 2, which is coming May 23rd, 2025. Directive 8020 looks kind of cool if you're into those choose-your-own-adventure kind of games. This one takes place in space, so I'm actually kind of interested to take a peek when it launches October 2nd, 2025. Hell Is Us was also another surprise that looked like a survival Kojima wannabe, where a guy out of Division fights some mannequins. So all I'm saying is I'm also interested in this one. Lies of P Overture was also revealed for a summer 2025 release, and it'll feature snow and other stuff to bonk. Keep an eye out. And as a side note, I did want to flag that I 1000% thought the reveal for Metal Eden, which is launching on May 6, 2025, was actually the reveal for Marathon, which I put out on Twitter, and apparently everybody agreed with me. They all also thought it was Marathon. It was not, but Bungie better start teasing something, because if I had to squint, Metal Eden is looking a lot like Marathon, and it's coming out in May. Big news here for me. Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, finally has a release date, sneaking into your home on August 28th. Snake is looking better than ever, and having recently played through the opening hours of the original, I honestly cannot wait to play this. I'm really excited about Delta, genuinely. It's one of my most anticipated games of 2025. Other games that looked interesting included Tides of Annihilation, where a sword-wielding protagonist fights bad things, and Lost Soul Aside did just look 5% cooler in my opinion, the PlayStation exclusive one, and it launches on May 30th. Maybe if I finish Doom the Dark Ages by then, I will check it out. So that is my recap portion of the PlayStation State of Play from my newsletter. It's very much in the old school, here's the news for the day, and yeah, I could probably just not voice it and just use that part, but yeah. So anyway, that's sort of everything. I can't believe Face, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate it. And you're not being like, you're being nice. It's great. Like, I don't mind that we don't agree. You're still being cool though. Let me get my email off of here. All right, so where was I? There were actually only a few things I wanted to talk about besides that portion. I did want to talk about Ubisoft. Things are not looking good for Ubisoft, everybody. And we are now in the, what am I on? How many hours have I been going? Oh, we already went an hour 33. All right, so we're on hour 2. Why did your $50 thing not count towards the goal? Did I select teal? Yeah, teal and higher is 10 super chats. That's weird. You don't come into our chat anymore? All right, let's read this this super chat thing really quick. Ubisoft CEO plans to focus on open world and live service games. Now, Ubisoft is not doing great. They're just not. Their revenue is down. They're in the millions instead of the billions. Yves Guillemot has stated that Ubisoft plans to focus on open world action adventure games and live service games year on year. Originally posted by, VGC, Guillemot went on to confirm that the company's way of getting out of hot water was to continue exactly the way it has been. This information came during a Q&A that followed after the company's financial results for Q3 of the 2024-2025 financial year. In this presentation, a caller asked if the executives could provide more information on what the development pipeline looks like for the future. In response to this, CEO Yves Guillemot said that the focus would be on open world adventures such as the long-standing franchise Assassin's Creed, as well as live service games such as Rainbow Six Siege. I'm going to shoot you straight. I have a big preview that nobody watched about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think that game's going to be mid. I don't think it's going to be disaster. I I don't think it's going to be like terrible or anything like that. Um, but yeah, I just think it's going to be average. It's just going to be another Assassin's Creed game. I know everybody wants me to be all up in arms about Assassin's Creed Shadows and how bad it's going to be. The bigger problem is they have come out and straight up said, oh yeah, you don't need to play as Yasuke, and the game will probably be better if you don't play as him. So why did you make him that way? Like, why did you make it so that I can play through the entire game as not Yasuke? What he and when I did the preview, one of my big things was with Nawe, you have to switch to Nawe to do the towers. So my review scale, Kino Man Sky's asking what I think I'm going to give it. My review scale, to be clear, I have 3 scores I will give a game. 1 out of 10, 7 out of 10, or 10 out of 10. Anything else, people don't care. If I go above a 7, it's a 10. I might as well have given it a 10. So that's what I'm going to do. If I go below a 7, I might as well have given it a 1. Because a 6 out of 10 in terms of internet, it's just a disaster. So those are the scores I give games. Right now, so I'm about 10 hours into Avowed. Avowed, well, I don't want to say anything too concretely, but I'm thinking it's a 7 out of 10, which matches what IGN gave it, funny enough. I think that Path of Exile 2 is a 10 out of 10. I think that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a 10 out of 10 based on Destin's reviews. This is Destin's review scale, by the way. So if it's above a 7, it's a 10. Tencent might buy Ubisoft. Yes, we've talked about that a little bit. Do you feel like you have fantasy fatigue? No. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a very special game. Then why not do a 3-point review scale? I am. 1 out of 10, 7 out of 10, and 10 out of 10. Those are my 3 points. Avowed got a 6 out of 10 by GameSpot. I'll tell you this. I saw, who was it? Luke Smith reviewed it, and he said he got save locked. If I get save locked, it's a 1 out of 10. If your game cannot be completed without playing hours of it over again, I'm sorry, it's a 1. My South of Midnight preview, if I think you guys know, I didn't like South of Midnight very much. I wrote some thoughts about that in the newsletter. Let me just read them to you again really quick. And I played through the demo one more time, and I was like, here's just what I wrote. South of Midnight previews hit the internet, and it would seem that people are excited, but several commented on lackluster combat and platforming that could hold the game back. Most people praise the unique art style and intrigue of the story. My personal reaction skewed a bit more negative. My chat just crashed. 1 second. My personal reaction skewed a bit more negative, citing weak combat, imprecise platforming, and a story that didn't make a lot of sense. My main gripe is understanding how a murder story ties into a story about Hazel finding her mom. I played through it again to make sure I wasn't crazy and stand by my preview that highlighted a bit of worry about how it'll come together. It feels like every single minor thing you do gets a little song, and with it, that makes it gets a little song with it, and that makes it feel like they're trying way too hard to make every single thing you do, even little things that seem trivial, a big deal. Like Hazel gets a story beat, then she follows the path, and it's like, Hazel followed the path, she walked along. And then like another story beat comes. Hazel got the bottle, she carried it along, and then she figured out the story. I'm just like, this is like an hour-long demo, and I was treated to like 3 or 4 different songs just about like what was happening in the game. And like, I was just like, what? This is strange. If it was just and then the Benji song, there's a song about Benji and rhubarb, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's pretty dramatic in terms of what happens there. And then there's a song about it, like we're supposed to feel bad for the character who did something terrible. And it really was not for me. And then people gave me a really hard time because, so I lived in Texas for several years. I think the song might be good, but it's just like, yeah, I'm sorry. That character doesn't really have a lot of redeeming qualities that you should be making a song about. Well, you do have a Heart of Stone. Yeah. Chat, do you care if I spoil what happens? Like within this fictional chapter of the game? It's chapter 3 of the game. Do you want to know what happens or no? Should I just keep it to myself? Okay, so it's a story about Benji and rhubarb, and chat seems like they're a little bit delayed. No. No, okay. I'll keep it to myself. You're going to hear a song about it every 10 seconds anyway when you play through chapter 3, so you'll see what happens. Yeah, it's just it's a character, and they write a song about the character who like doesn't have anything, like they shouldn't be writing a song about the character in my opinion. And it's the guy who lives in the trailer or whatever, or the bayou. And I'm just like, why is this a thing? And then like you heal the pain of one of the other characters by climbing up it and then punching it in the ear, and then its pain is healed, and then the fish is free. The song was impactful. Which one? There's 4. There's 4. And I'm saying it's an hour. If you do like everything in it, I think I clocked in an hour and 10 of game time in this portion of the game. The first time I played through it, I think I beat it in 40 minutes. And probably like a quarter of that is cutscenes. So you're talking about like 20, 30 minutes of actual platforming and combat. So I know I'm a super outsider on South of Midnight. I know that. Alex says, hey, Destin, first time I caught you live. Greeting from Norway, and congratulations on leaving IGN. Well, thank you so much. Anyway, you can't read the lore. Yes, you can. You can read the lore in the game. And I did. And none of it really has anything to do with chapter 3. It's all about the lore in the game. It's about Hazel's mom a little bit, her dad's mom, or her grandmother, I guess, or grandmother-in-law. I think it's her grandmother. The spirits that you meet in the game, and they kind of write about that a little bit. The haints, I think they're called, or the haunts, the haints, I can't remember. But yeah. So you can turn off the frame rate stuff in game when you play it. You can turn it off in combat, but you can't turn it off in the cutscenes. And I think that the frame rate limiting, I think it adds absolutely nothing to the game, and I think it's completely unnecessary. I think they released a trailer recently with it's like a stop motion trailer. And I think that they're going for that look, but I think they've been unsuccessful in mimicking that design and feeling. I don't know. So like, I don't know. I'm starting to like, I don't just want to dunk on South of Midnight, because I was really excited about that game. We watched that documentary on the stream, and I got flagged for it, by the way. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like the way that they're presenting it and talking about how excited they are about it. And then I played it and I'm like, I don't think it works, but I could be way wrong. Even though I was one of the more negative skewing, I was not the only person who flagged the lackluster combat. I was not the only person who flagged the platforming. In a platforming combat-based game, what is the gameplay? It is the platforming and the combat. And I watched like several previews who said the combat's not great and the platforming's not great. That's the gameplay. So like, let's say they knock the story out of the park. Great. Good stuff. Like I play it again. I like the story. They still have that working against it. That the platforming sort of and that the combat is not great. And I would just say, like, man, I remember the combat in the original God of War being good. And what's another like old game? Cameo combat. Like that was pretty fun. It feels like old. It just feels old, I think is the best way to describe the combat. Dated. So anyway, let's move on. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on South Midnight again. I don't remember how we got there. I am all over the place today. Let's get back on track. We're talking about Ubisoft, everybody. We've been investing significantly for a big pipeline of products for the coming years along our two verticals. These being open world action adventure, as well as games as a service native experiences, says Guillemot. And that's what we want to deliver year after year. In this presentation, games that have already been confirmed were discussed. This includes Assassin's Creed Shadows, which will be the latest open world game ready to be released. However, this game has already caused a significant amount of controversy, and it hasn't been released yet. Initially set to be released last year, the game has received multiple pushbacks, and it was set to release on March 20th. Sorry, with it set to release on 20th of March 2025. We announced that Anno 117 Pax Romana will also come next year, as well as The Division Resurgence on mobile. The Division on mobile was good. I like Division Mobile. But we'll have more to share by the time of May. So it looks like we'll find out more in May. I think Assassin's Creed's going to do fine. And the bigger news bit that I saw over on Insider Gaming was that Assassin's Creed Shadows pre-orders are actually in line with Odyssey. So people, regardless of all the controversy that we're seeing online and on Twitter, it seems like they're doing just fine in terms of pre-orders. Ubisoft is happy with pre-launch build for Assassin's Creed Shadows, despite multiple delays that pushed the game out of 2024 to March 20th, 2025. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot says that the interest in the game has seen strong pre-orders overall. During Ubisoft's Q3 2025 earnings call on Thursday, Guillemot said that pre-orders for Assassin's Creed Shadows are tracking solidly in line with those of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the second most successful entry of the franchise. That's great. Early previews have been positive, praising its narrative and immersive experience, while both characters playing critical roles in the game's storyline, as well as the quality and complementary what? Complementarity. What did he say? Am I reading it wrong? With both characters playing critical roles in the game's storyline, as well as the quality and complementarity, it's an awkward word to use there anyway, of the gameplay provided by the dual protagonist approach. That's not true. They don't really complement each other well. I watched a few previews, and most people did not like that you had to switch. They said that Yasuke was overpowered, and they said that Nawe was underpowered. He continued, I want to commend the incredible talent and the dedication of the entire Assassin's Creed team, who is working tirelessly to ensure that Shadows delivers on the promise of what is the franchise's most ambitious entry yet. I don't think it's that ambitious. I think that Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's just boring. I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything that new or exciting. I think it feels like another Assassin's Creed game. My biggest problem with the Assassin's Creed franchise was it started with Assassin's Creed 3 because they had a Native American protagonist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I did the guide on IGN, so I had to play through that whole game. They never actually talked about the terrible things that happened in the Wild West period of time. Connor. Thank you, Diablo. And they just like skirted around it. Like there's like, oh, you got to go burn the blankets. Why would you not make that like a whole mission? Like, hey, they're giving us poison blankets. Like have a dialogue about what happened during that time period and the terrible treatment of Native Americans in the time period. No, that would be too much. That's like too real. And then I feel like with Shadows, there's a chance they might get into that stuff, but they've done so in a way that I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna wait and see how it ends up playing out. Like, yeah. Crytek had some layoffs. We'll see what happens with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think Ubisoft is cooked. Not because I want Ubisoft to be cooked, but because if you look at their financials, they are not doing well. I don't know how they're going to pull themselves out of that. They're going to end up selling the company. I think it's inevitable that they end up selling the company, if I'm being totally honest. Crytek, and there's still layoffs happening, right? Here's Crytek. Like so many of our peers, we aren't immune to the complex, unfavorable market dynamics that have hit our industry these past several years. It pains us greatly to share today that we must lay off an estimated 15% of our around 400 employees. The layoffs affects development teams and shared services. This has not been an easy decision to make, and we deeply appreciate the hard work of our talented teams. After putting the development of the next Crisis game on hold in Q3 2024, we have been trying to shift developers over to Hunt Showdown 1896. Must be profitable. While Hunt Showdown 1896 is still growing, Crytek cannot continue as before and remain financially sustainable. Even after ongoing efforts to reduce costs and cut operating expenses, we have determined that layoffs are inevitable to move forward. Crytek will offer affected employees severance packages and career assistance services. They legally have to give them career assistance services because I believe they are located overseas. We firmly believe in the future of Crytek. With Hunt Showdown 1896, we have a very strong gaming service and remain fully committed to its operation. We will continue to expand and evolve Hunt Showdown 1896 with great content and drive our strategy for our engine, CryEngine. I think that is incredibly unfortunate that they're going all in with the Hunt Showdown 1896. I think that Hunt Showdown must be profitable for them, and it must be what they need to focus on right now. I hope that they revisit Crisis sooner rather than later. I truly, truly hope they do. Sorry, Craig. Yeah, chat, can you chill out? Y'all are so negative. I don't know what to do. I have 3 moderators in there, and Clay's off today. Hunt barely profitable at the best of times. Yeah. Usually one of my mods is in here, Clay. He's been watching for years, and he's usually in there hey guys, keep it down. I gotta do something. We gotta do something nice for Clay. Clay, the chat moderator that makes chat breathable. Nate Dog, good to see you. I need to figure out some sort of moderation with my comment section too. My comment section has bots. I've seen threads look at Destin's comments. I'm I'm one human being. My videos get like 2,000 comments. You think I have time to sit there and read through what everybody's saying? And then people will be like, look what this person said. How did you miss this? And I'm like, because I made it 2 weeks ago and that guy commented today. Like, I'm not bragging. Like, yeah, the video I did not like South of Midnight has 713 comments. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 controversy is stupid. 554 comments. Like, I'm not like complaining. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to manage that. I'm not like a big enough YouTuber where like I can just hire somebody, you know? Anyway, I have chat filters on for like the really bad stuff, but you know what people do. Maybe try and read positive chats that aren't just the super chats. Incentivize positivity. I think I do sometimes, Nico, but that's a good point. Halo is coming back home to play. See? You have others like me willing and waiting. Yeah, I can give you mod status, Philaroni. Philaroni's been watching. What do you think? Make Philaroni a mod? I asked that, like, just the worst stuff, just get rid of it. Or like people, like, what are the rules that we want to have? Spamming stuff, get rid of it. Bots, not Xbots, just like bot programs, get rid of them. And just anything like the worst stuff, get rid of the worst stuff, obviously. But I don't want people to feel like they can't talk and joke around or give me a hard time. That's fine. Like if you're saying like Xbox is dead as a joke and everybody in chat is doing it as a joke, or PlayStation better or PlayStation dead, or any of those jokes that we see online, I personally don't really care, you know? Yeah, any negative Xbox talk is banned, says Special Nick. So any of the Crytek news is really unfortunate. I really think that if they made something cool with the Crysis brand, they could have a big winner on their hands. That's my personal take. Hey, Destin, I have never played the Kingdom Come games. Are they super difficult, a la Souls games? I wouldn't say they're like Souls games. They are very difficult. But I would say buckle up for a slower paced game. Because I just got past like the part where they're in the stirrups and I'm sort of exploring in the open world. I've already screwed up with the innkeeper because she said like go deal with these people at the table, which is like 5 hours into the game or something. And I was like, okay, I go out there. There's no people at the table for me to help with. So I fast forward time an hour. There's still nobody there. I go to sleep and I wake up and then she's pissed because I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, so apparently I did that one wrong. Yeah, it's a sim. It's a sim for sure. But I love it. Just be prepared for that if you play it. But no, you don't need to play the original. Yeah, I went for the dog first, Jay Marcaso. So I went for the dog and I stole a horse. And I went to a town and I go to the town. I start talking to like the shopkeeper or whatever. And we're just talking and all these people are like, I can't believe he did it. There he is. Get him. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, what did I do? I'm in trouble. It's like, I'm just talking to him. The dialogue ends and then the whole town is like, kill him. I'm like, oh shit. And then they're like, you stole a horse. I'm like, this is about the horse that I stole like 2 towns ago. So, yeah. It's been kind of a disaster, but I'm loving it. And I'm just going with the flow, so to speak. My top 5 most anticipated games, somebody wanted to know. Doom the Dark Ages, for sure. What else is on the horizon? Getting enough time to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, yeah. Doom the Dark Ages, Expedition 33, GTA 6. Those are 3 of them. What else is coming out this year? Or what else has been announced? I don't know if Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be a destined game. I tried to play it on stream last week, and I deleted that part of the VOD because I was so bad that I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't want anybody to see this. This is embarrassing. State of Decay 3, Fable, Subnautica. Honestly, I'm in the I think Fable's going to be good camp. I think they're going to lean into humor. And Ghost of Yotei. Yeah, actually, I'm really excited about Ghost of Yotei. So those are probably my 5. Ninja Gaiden 4 is too far out. So Doom the Dark Ages, GTA 6. I'm actually excited about Fable, but that's like probably my lowest one. I could maybe swap it out. What else did we say? Expedition 33, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Really into that. And there was another one. Can't remember what else I said. But there's nothing I've seen where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play that. That looks so cool. GTA 6. Like GTA 6 is probably the next one like that. Yeah. Like, what are my 5 most anticipated games? Getting enough time to go back and play in Stalker. Getting enough time to finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't give a shit about Digimon. Gears E-Day. That's a good one. Off topic, but what is with the Canadian fan? I don't know what was up with that, but the hockey fights were were insane. I I saw the Canadian hockey fights with the USA versus Canada. Oh my god. That was nuts. Yeah, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 at night. I did a poll and I said, what should I finish first? Avowed or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Everybody said Avowed. So I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Yeah, there was one check where they hit a dude so hard he went flying up into the glass and landed on the ground. And like, if you watch hockey, it was 10 fights in the first 5 minutes. It was 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. Sorry, like, I used to watch hockey when I was like a kid, and that game is going around on the internet. I was like, whoa, that is the craziest amount of fights I've seen in a fight in a game in a long time. So, wow. Here's another quote from that Phil Spencer interview, by the way. Phil Spencer is not trying to move PlayStation and Nintendo players all over to Xbox anymore. Let's just allow more people to play. And yes, the 70% that we make on games on other platforms is helpful to us. See more. And they had a really good conversation there. Raise your hands in chat. Who else thought that this was Marathon? I am dead serious. This is Metal Eden. It's coming out in May, and I am dead serious. I thought that this was Marathon. It has the same aesthetic. It has the same art style. And honestly, I was kind of into it. So Bungie needs to start talking about stuff. Bungie needs to start talking about whatever is going on with Marathon, because now you have a game that looks a lot like Marathon that I think you need to release. Yeah, I think Bungie's going to do a showcase for Marathon. Like, that's just Bungie's MO, right? They always do their own thing. Jeff Grubb said that Fair Games is delayed. Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if they kill it, honestly. I just wonder if Fair Games is so far along that they kind of can't. Yeah, so that's Metal Eden. By the way, that's Metal Eden. May 6, 2025, wishlist now. It's from Deep Silver. And Rycon. Look, I don't know what that game's going to be, but I want to check it out now. And then I was actually like, wow, Marathon looks kind of dope. So was iMachine. I was like, this looks early, but yeah, I actually thought it looked good too. And then the Days Gone remaster announced trailer, that's coming April 25th. I'm not going to touch that. Even if you're a PlayStation fan, y'all, Days Gone remastered is a bad call. The original game didn't sell that well. Like, why would you go all in with Days Gone remastered? Remake Infamous Second Son. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I was just reading chat there for a second. Oh, Derek had the sales figure that I was looking for. If I'm reading this last part right, then Ubisoft is going to do more cost cutting into financial year 2026 and beyond. This is from the 13th, right? Cost-cutting reduction plan to exceed $200 million by financial year 2024-2025 ahead of schedule. As part of its ongoing efforts to streamline operations and enhance collective efficiency, Ubisoft continued to drive significant cost reductions as it adopts an even more selective approach to investments. In December, following a thorough assessment of its performance, profitability, and market conditions, Ubisoft announced the discontinuation of XDefiant and the closure of 3 production studios in high-cost geographies. Additionally, in January, the group announced the closure of an additional production site and targeted restructurings that impacted 3 studios. The company now expects to exceed 200 million euros in fixed cost reductions by financial year 2024-2025 compared to 2022-2023 ahead of schedule, and plans to pursue these efforts in financial year 26, going beyond the initial target by a significant margin. Oh man. Shadows is going to come out and they're going to do another layoff announcement, I think. If that's the case, they're just going to slash everything. Like, yeah. That's going to be brutal. That was the last story, actually. Did I miss anything? No, I think that was the last one. Well, was there anything that I missed that you want to cover? Do you want to play some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Should I react to Colin's video? Colin had a video that he put out recently. And I was considering reacting to it. If I can find it. I don't know where it is.
I'm not much of a...
You know what? I'm just going to spoil it for you right now. I have several guests lined up for interviews. Colin's one of them. So if you're watching the stream, everybody asked me to interview Colin. Like when I said, who do you want me to interview? I think a big majority of people watching asked me to reach out to Colin. I've been trying to figure something out. It's been hard to align schedules, but I think we finally locked in a time. I'll make a more official announcement later. But yeah, Colin and I will be chatting soon and talking about stuff. I had Colin on the channel not that long ago, and we talked about the PlayStation, Xbox, Activision acquisition, and all of that stuff, right? Colin Moriarty. And a lot of people don't like that I talked to Colin. They really don't like it. And I'm just like, okay, you don't have to. That's fine. Colin's been very kind to me. He's never given me a reason to like be angry with him. Colin's tweeted some controversial stuff, Philaroni, that some people don't agree with. Yeah. So, chat, how do you feel about it? Should I have Colin on? Do you care? Colin has the wildest and most insane Xbox takes. It's like he's completely uninformed. I don't think that's true, Eat Fresh Guy. I think Colin's a pretty smart guy. I think Colin's very smart. I think he's coming from a pretty informed position. I don't think he's disrespectful in our conversations. I think that when we talk, he doesn't make me feel like an idiot. He doesn't denigrate me in any way. He's very well informed. I think we have a great conversation with push and pull elements to it. And that's why I had him on the show. In terms of shows, did you prefer the small number of games from the Direct or the quantity from State of Play? I like both shows. I just like knowing about video games I'm going to get to play. So when I watch a show, I'm just like, oh, cool, new video games I get to check out. So, yeah. Well, Eat Fresh Guy, you can feel how you want about Colin, and like some people hate me too, but he's still coming on the show. You just don't have, like, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. Yeah, Colin, Greg, myself, Keza, Jose Otero, Mike Oransky, a whole bunch of us went to Japan back in the day, and it's one of my like favorite memories of traveling with the crew. I think Brian Altano was there. Um, some other people, I can't remember exactly who it was, but yeah, a bunch of us used to travel together. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I think Colin's very smart, and I really want to ask him about like what are we going to talk about. He has almost the exact opposite opinion I do about how things played out. Let's talk about a few of the things that just industry wide I have seen about Microsoft buying Activision. Almost universally, we have seen that it is a negative thing that Microsoft bought Activision. Usually that's attributed to the fact that Microsoft laid employees off after the acquisition. The reason I find that to be odd is because everybody laid people off. So in a vacuum, if Activision had remained Activision, who had just hired something like 10,000 employees the year before, I don't think there is any world where Activision would not have laid people off. They absolutely would have. Are people deleting their comments? Like, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of moderation, but sometimes I'm trying to read it and it's gone. So yeah. Don't go too crazy with moderation unless it's, like I said, really bad stuff. If it's just like Xbox bad, I don't care. Unless they're spamming it. Why spend 75 billion then go multi-plat? Because Microsoft said, "Hey, you need to go multi-plat. We need to make our money back." That's what I think happened. There was an article about how it's no longer whatever. It's okay. So people are posting stuff that's getting auto flagged. That's great. I totally lost my train of thought. I think it's going to be great to have Colin on. I think we'll have a good conversation. Totally forgot what I was talking about, though. I was going to react to his video, but I think I'll just talk to him like whenever the date is. I have 2 other interviews. If you are part of the Patreon or you're on the Discord, Thomas Mahler is my next guest. He created Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And I definitely want to talk to him about the Kotaku article about the studio culture and ask him about that and what, if anything, he has done to sort of address that. Is there any truth to it, or if he has any sort of response to it? I want to ask him about that. And I just want to ask for his take. He seems to have a very pessimistic take on the current state of the industry. I played No Rest for the Wicked. I think No Rest for the Wicked is really good. And then I'm also having another, it's like a bonus interview. I think I'm just going to publish that one live because, well, I'll reveal that one. That one's just going to go live after it's done. I think it's not going to be part of the Patreon, but Thomas Mahler is part of the Patreon launch. So it'll launch on Patreon first, and then it'll go to YouTube. And then I have another interview the same day. Actually, they just kind of ended up doubling up. And then I think it's Colin. And then I have some other stuff coming. I'll just say that I think PlayStation fans will like. I think PlayStation fans will be excited about some of the interviews I have coming down the line. Ted Price. I've interviewed Ted Price in real life for IGN. Ted Price is not an exciting guy to interview. Ted Price is wonderful, but you'll ask him a question and he'll be like, "Yeah, I think that game was good. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. I really liked making that. Yeah, it's good." He's well spoken and everything, but he's not like he's very succinct in his responses. He's very quiet. Yeah. I left IGN. I quit. And it's Destin. I message my IGN friends every once in a while. I texted Corrado the other day and said that he did some good stuff. Y'all just reminded me. I actually got to respond to somebody kind of important who I haven't responded to yet. Let me just respond to this DM. I'll respond to him later. Yeah, got a great interview lined up for March that I'm very excited about. James Rolfe. Yeah, he's kind of like James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd who like has this persona, and yeah. Travis is an XEP tomorrow for a spoiler cast about Avowed. What's XEP? Xbox Experience? Sony is already multi-plat now with games on PC and Switch. You know what's really funny about the PlayStation fans? They're talking about, oh, PlayStation going to PC is different. Like, it's exactly what Xbox did. They did this slow rollout where they slowly rolled out games onto PC. And then longer term, what happened, chat? They went full multi-plat. And now PlayStation is doing it. And yeah, it was a DM asking you about how you felt about Avowed. I think Avowed it's good. It's basically everything I said in my previews, right? Can I use this when I'm streaming? Great. Let's see if it works. But you know what time it is, everybody. We're going to play some video games. We are going to play some video games for a little bit. I did say I would go a little bit longer. Let me know how the audio balance is. That might be a little too low. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I am not good at this video game, and it is not a super fun game to stream. I'm gonna do it anyway. Or, you know what? Should I play this or should I play Avowed?
Good to see you.
You know what? I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to switch it up and we're going to play Avowed instead. I'm not that far in to Avowed. So, spoiler warning, everybody. I was joking with you. Yeah, all right. Chat wants me to play Avowed. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is not a good stream game. Like, if I was going to stream on Twitch exclusively, I would... Oh, I remember what I was talking about before. We were talking about the layoffs. There is no world where Bobby Kotick wouldn't have laid anybody off in modern time. Like, if Activision was run by Bobby Kotick, they'd be firing people too. And Xbox and Microsoft still would have had layoffs because they would have had a failed merger. They would have had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for the failed merger attempt. So my whole take on that situation was, I think it's odd that I think layoffs are bad. Make no mistake. But I think they were inevitable. And I don't think that they're good. I think that once everything smooths out, I do think it will be a better work environment for the employees under Activision Blizzard, at least based on what we've read about Activision Blizzard and how they treated everybody. But time will tell. You know, there was a tweet. You know what? I just remembered the other thing that I missed on the stream. Oh my God. Ybarra tweeted the following. Long story short, Phil Spencer not trying to move PlayStation players to Xbox anymore. Ybarra, who used to work at Activision Blizzard, he used to run the whole thing. He said the following. How is this still news? They've been consistent. They are a publisher now and support all platforms. It's the right strategy for them and their business. Sure, it took a while for them to get clear on this, balancing selling hardware / managing customers with the reality of the strategy. I love that their games are on PC and PS5. I get loyal Xbox gamers are mad, but that isn't going to change anything. Embrace and move on. Play on what you enjoy playing on. If you're a console-only person, that probably means PlayStation or Nintendo in the future, but you'll still have Xbox games there. What? Why would that not mean Xbox? Whatever. PlayStation / Nintendo should work with Xbox on some type of friends transfer system. What? All right. Eventually that should be done to help people stay connected with their friends. Oh, integration. Okay. We will never see a universal gaming social platform, but I do wish we could. So I think that's interesting. right? I think it's interesting that he says that, especially because he used to work at Microsoft. Do I think that Xbox is going anywhere? I just don't. I don't. So, yeah. Layoffs are bad. No one denies that layoffs are bad. They're terrible. It's really hard to go through a layoff. Like it can really mess you up. That's why in some countries they have like all these services and things to help you deal with a layoff or firing or anything like that. So anybody who says that like I'm happy people are getting fired, just F you. I don't think I would ever say that. I don't think I've ever said that. Like, I know they say never, but I cannot remember a time I'm like, oh yay, a bunch of people got fired. So yeah. It's hard. And I hope that the employees end up landing on their feet. I think the market is in a scary place right now. I see a lot of people online who I know personally who came from media who were still looking for work. Like the Game Informer people got totally blindsided. They shut down the whole magazine. Anyway, people want me to play Avowed. Let's go punch some people. Boom. All right, so I just fought the like, what's his name guy? Is this on? Why do I have to turn it on every time? It's not going to let me, is it? Will this work? All right. I can't record anything, so hopefully nothing too cool happens. Abilities, character. I have 1 point. I've just been statting into damage, honestly. And then my companion, Marius, who I just recruited. Attack, steal, bleed. Shadow step. Sure, let's just level up his shadow step. I like assassinate. Shadow step instantly kills most stunned enemies, increasing the amount of damage done by shadow tap in the proportion to the enemy's health mission. Sure, let's do that one. Hit him more. And then Kai has a point. Second wind. Like what if I do it again? No. Smash down. Kai steals his mind to regenerate health and increases damage reduction. Let's do the slam one. Doubles the area of effect. He has health. Bonus attack damage. Bigger area effect. Bigger bonk. And then for me, I really like charge. But I don't think the stun amount dealt is very helpful. Critical hits with melee weapons deal more damage. Sure, let's do the passive. And then I don't even remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, I just killed a whole bunch of people.
Captain, you have no jurisdiction over the Paradise Militia.
Ah, the Emperor's envoy. I'm glad
How's
to
the
see
audio
His
balance,
Majesty
everybody?
is sending more adherents to settle this untamed land. I am Alfir, a captain in the Steel Garrote under Inquisitor Ludwine. How else should one take one's rank, envoy? This
Yeah, I haven't had
sergeant
any
of the
issues.
Paradise Militia refuses to discipline his people about lingering near our headquarters. A less charitable woman might suppose that their loitering is
Turn on
intended to
subtitles, sorry.
aggravate us.
Move my camera a little bit.
That's this way to go to and from the East Gate. What are they supposed to do? Walk all the way down to the market entrance just to make you feel better?
They do more than simply walk
I don't
by.
like this
They
lady.
linger here.
She's kinda like-
drinking and talking.
Arrogant.
Look, none of us are professional soldiers. We're militia. We all have other jobs to get back to. Of course, we'll stop to have a drink and a laugh with our friends on our way to and from the gate.
Good
If
audio.
the Steel
Good.
Garrote want to look
It's
down our
out
noses
early
at us
access,
for our
or it
lack
comes
of
out in like 2
discipline,
days.
That's fine. Just stop complaining that we don't take everything as seriously as you joyless lot.
See? This is what I'm
Can I
talking
kill
about.
anybody?
Antagonism, plain and simple.
You don't have to avoid this building, but keep your people from loitering here. I don't want to. No, you can
Very
share.
well, envoy. Though it would be easier to do my job if there were fewer distractions.
You shut
I
up.
suppose
Like you're
you'll
fine.
have to rely on
I don't
that
like her.
famous adherent discipline
She's
then.
evil, right?
Many thanks, Envoy.
Can I? Yeah, I don't like. Dislike. All right, I don't remember what I'm doing here. Going to Dawn Shore. Is this the new location? Am I going to a new location? No, this is just outside the castle, isn't it? I haven't played for a few days. All right, let me see what I was doing in my journal here. Oh yeah, we're just gonna main story it. There's a bunch of Zarups down there, so I'm gonna try and. Really? All right. Is there anything I can kill? Give me something to kill. I'll show you my build. I think I'm one of the few people who went with like a melee fighter. Wait, I know where I am. All right. I think I already murdered everything. I noticed in Travis' review, he pointed out that like basically everything is dead. Here's a Zara. Oh, level 1? Whoosh!
Show me what you got.
Oh, wrong guy.
We got them all.
Aren't these the grave robbers over here? Thought there was like a grave robber for some reason. Oh yeah, I can't remember how to get across the bridge. So it wants me to find the Watcher. But I don't know how to go over there. Freeze water? You think? Or is that the answer? I haven't been using magic. I've been using melee, but I think you're right. Ice ball in the water. All right. Give it a shot. I think I have a grimoire. I don't have an ice grimoire, though. Dang it. All right. Oh, wait. No, you know what I can do? I can just use the... This one ice? That's the ice one, I think. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Thanks, chat. Y'all were right. Oh, let's sneak up on a level 1 bear. I think we got this. Ooh, something shiny.
Just like the good old days.
I do like the fact that it's Garrus Vicarian. You can do wield. I don't have anything too crazy. I just got like a slightly leveled up arquebus, which I like, and yeah. Dino bones down there. There's something secret? No? I'm so used to playing with a wider depth of field, though. I like to
turn back at any moment. Nothing of value would be lost.
What's gotten into you? I've seen you enter an ogre's nest less reluctant.
The chickens are very strong.
Step closer, godlike.
Oh, all right. What's up?
If it is a watcher you seek, then a watcher you have found.
This is giving me the
Everybody
shivers.
seems to really like this game.
Maybe I'll stand outside.
Why have you come to me, godlike?
I died and returned. You're supposed to give me a clean bill of health. Liviana said you could help me. I've been hearing voice as well, a voice, singular. You tell me, Watcher.
The echo of a past life, mayhaps.
We'll do the voice one.
Common enough for one who has so recently died.
Word travels fast.
Let's have a look at you then. You who came to these shores on a royal errand. You who have died and returned. To open
I heard it
the
gets
door
more
to your
addicting as you
soul,
go. Is it possible
we
you can go
must
from a 7 to a
first
10? Yeah, of
open
course.
A door to your mind. Now repeat after me. I stand on the shore between here and beyond.
Sure. Clutch your head.
Very good. Spoken with conviction. I dip my toe into bottomless depths.
Like what are my options here? Fake it or
The lake
say the words?
is a mirror. The mirror is a door. And the door stands open.
Steam reviews are positive. That's great. Lie.
A door. A garden gate.
Oh yeah, my character's a hottie. My last character was used in all the thumbnails.
Here with us?
So I just made it like, I tried to make a more
Who
attractive
are you?
character for
What
my full
are you?
playthrough.
Show me what you are.
A hand knocks on our bark. Do we answer?
It's a bummer that,
How can they see?
yeah, it's out in 2 days on Game Pass.
What is this I hear? Old and forgotten. Echoes of echoes. An uninvited passenger?
Now she's hearing voices. Great. Is that gonna cost us extra or something?
Curious. Something clings to your soul. Felt, but unseen.
If it goes to 8, it's a 10.
Voices. Echoes in the placid lake. Shelter the sea from winter. Who reaches for our bars? Who speaks?
Enough. I have seen into your soul, and hereby close that which was open. The door is shut, the reading finished. Well, that was truly unexpected.
I don't really understand. Yeah, what happened?
I am pleased to report I made contact with your soul.
My review scale's
and
infallible.
then with
Correct.
Something I cannot name. First, the good news. Not only is your soul healthy, it is strong, powerful. Strange for one who so recently died. Death leaves a scar, but you are unmarked.
I don't care about scores.
Instead
Yeah,
of
neither do I.
passing
I think they're
through
kind
the
of silly.
beyond, your soul was nurtured, protected, caged.
Soft. The shell cushions the egg.
You only
Okay.
live because someone would not permit you to die. But I wonder, who?
Some big egg.
I can say much, but that thing, whatever it is,
Signet
eludes
open
me.
82 on Metacritic.
It has
It's
been
good.
years
Okay.
since I met a godlike.
If it's an
Their
80, it's a
souls
10
have
on
a
my scale.
sonorous quality, like the music of a bell. A godlike
Actually,
soul sings
no, it'd be a
together
7,
with
wouldn't
the
it?
God that has claimed them, made them their own. It gives them power. Your soul, it has no chime. In its place, a thorn jabs at your essence, working its way to the surface.
Sure.
I told you the good news. Now comes the bad, or the unusual.
Finish Dragon's Dogma 2
When
first,
you
yeah.
came into this life, a thorn pierced
Xbox
the
tax.
fabric of your soul, and your soul grew around it, trapping and embracing the invader. A godlike's chime is a gift, a blessing. But a
Jason likes it. That's
godlike's
good to know.
thorn,
Lots of dialogue, yeah.
that may be a curse.
Which one of the gods did this to me? Figures. I've been unlucky from the moment I set foot on this island. I mean,
I
you
cannot
cheated
say.
death.
The gods must answer for their actions. We know that a god touched you at birth, but which one and why? They always sign their work, and none of them lay claim to you. Disturbing. Terrible. There are so few godlike remaining, and you are a stranger even among your own kind.
Sounds like a challenge, Mike. I like my armor. I don't remember where I got it, but yeah.
Forward. Whatever you choose to believe in, be it fate, the gods, or your own nature, it will point you the way. I wish I could tell you that everything will work out in your favor, but the wheel turns by a merciless hand.
I've thought about it.
When you find a pillar of
Play
Adra,
WoW instead, Jez.
commune with it.
I do like the game.
Adra has a strong link to the beyond.
Adra?
Adra holds the path between this life and the next, a conduit for souls all around Eora. Through Adra,
They're explaining a lot of the
may find its way
lore.
back to the wheel, to be
Now you want me to go
born
back to
again.
Kingdom Come too?
But the Adra here, in the living lands, is different. Insular. It connects only to itself. Twisting vines, essence
Chat,
warping
now chat's
into
turning on it.
essence.
We're gonna give it till 4:30. When I touched the Adra pillar, I heard a voice. We already know that.
Your questions are of a spiritual nature, and they seek a spiritual answer. When you find Adra, commune with it. Take heed of its lesson. Adra may pave your road to the truth, or it may lead to a dead end. But the journey will teach you.
Yeah.
That I promise. Before we close, have you any final questions?
No.
Safe travels, Godlike.
I just want to
And
play the
thank
game.
you for the glimpse at your wonderful soul. I will pray that your next turning of the wheel is uneventful. Until then, you are bound to live a rich and complicated life.
Okay.
Did you get any of that? That just sounded like a hot breeze to me.
This kind of thing makes my skin prickle. Let's get out of here.
I can fast travel, right? So I'm going to fast travel back to the camp. And then we can talk to Marius, who has a dialogue thing over his head. Oh, yeah, it already kicked me into it, so... Oh, they both have something.
It's not every day you get to deal with the person who killed you. And since you set them free, you get...
Oh, I just wanted to turn on subtitles that, like, jump forward. And since you set them free, you get to deal with them again sometime in the future.
What part?
I take it you don't
Part where you
approve.
set free an assassin who succeeded at killing you once already? Right. Must be that part. Anyway, it doesn't matter what I think.
I didn't kill the
You found
assassin. I reloaded the
still
save.
alive, which means well done, Marius. Anyway. Ask away. Yes, I did. The less we talk about that, the better. No, I really don't.
Okay.
I don't need to know how many men you've killed to know you're more than capable in battle. Now, we just met, Envoy, and I'm here to do a job. Maybe we'll be best of friends someday, but this
Okay,
isn't
Arthropod.
that day. Best we just keep things professional.
All right, all right.
Thank you. Not everyone accepts that some things are best left in the past.
I kind of know what happens with these characters, and I wish I didn't, because it kind of ruins the experience.
Well, I'm one of the very few people who spends most of their time out in the wilds and haven't gotten themselves killed yet. I know the difference between hay-bleed toxin and high-tox bloom, which is something you should be really thankful for. And you know the Balrog and the Grinning Balrog? No, but I am one of the few who have seen a Balrog and lived.
I'm not going to tell
Mostly
you.
because I
I'm
had
just
the brains to
sad
let
that I
Drago
had
out
it
of
spoiled
there.
for me.
The key is survival. I understand that, and a lot of people don't. And that's why they're dead, and I'm still here. We're gonna get you where you're going, Envoy. Alive and with as few blithe tail bites as possible. That, more or less, is all you need to know about me.
That's fine.
Right. Changing the subject.
No, I'm good. I don't.
I've done some reading.
Wait. What did I miss?
No offense, but you leave a pretty wide trail, Envoy. I mean that anyone who wanted to track you down would just have an adherent official. Like? Well, we've worked together in the past. We found your assassin.
Sorry, I'm gonna skip
My
some of
guess
this.
is you'll...
It's like too much. I want to go play the game.
Merci, Envoy. I'll make myself at home. Anyway, enough chat.
Okay, his
Never
exclamation
met that
point's
Orlin
gone.
girl before in my life.
What Orlin girl?
You remember. The one in the camp in Shadow Peaks? With the thing on her head?
Oh.
It's-
Not everyone warrants an assassination attempt, you know. You should be flattered.
I do like Kai.
Good thing you rectified that for him. Though you really had him at a loss.
Garrus
when you let him
Vicarian.
go. Me too, for that matter. Don't get me wrong, I'm impressed. Not many in your position would have let him walk away.
Well, unfortunately, I have like dialogue. I've already done all the exploration for this section, so I need to get through this.
I think the living lands, even
We'll
though
skip
most
it a
of
little
us
bit.
come here looking for... Why'd you do it?
I'm just gonna read. Mercy, I try not to shed blood unless I have to. No, that's not true. He'll tell his story and others will think twice before striking.
Clever. Though, I suspect he and his followers will scatter to the winds after this.
That's fine.
I'm afraid we haven't seen the last of this conflict, though. Eagwolf isn't the only hothead in the living lands, and he's certainly not the only one with his hackles up about all you Adira newcomers. And Ludwig and the Steel Garrote are only making matters worse.
What does a Steel Garrote have to do with anything?
They're a match to a powder. Your ambassador and the rest of all the things
All
that
right.
half of us... Then, one day, Ludwig and the Steel Garrote show up.
That was
to
like a weird
reinforce
audio
the
pickup.
Adiran presence, and they're as harsh as Wodaka herself. Strict the route.
All right, I'm just gonna.
You'd make an excellent admiral.
Yes.
However, that it remains. But
I fear there's trouble on the horizon, especially the Steel Garrote's tactics went out.
nice to know. Just thinking about Claviger Amon, but my best and the feeling. I think sleep. Rebellion and Luke. I don't.
Since when?
Okay. I like fun. They say she's hunting down so-called agitators.
Oh,
flattening
interesting.
entire settlements that stand in her way. Of course, all the news reaching Paradise is jumbled together. Stories about the Dream Scourge, the Steel Garrote, and the weird happenings that are almost commonplace around
Just
here.
listening.
So it's hard to say what's true. I think you're right. I don't know that, but should I? Holler if you need anything else.
All right, I got everything. Why did we go to the camp? Oh, I just wanted to get that out of the way, I think. Yeah, this is Avowed Turbo. Oh, great.
These mirrors, we have touched something like your dreams before. The leaf remembers.
If
the
I can kill
strain.
this thing, I'm going to kill this
We
thing.
have questions we must know. A killer freed, a predator returned to the woods. You bled and forgave. Why? Should he not suffer for your pain?
Oh, I can swear. I'm not going to tell you again. Someone has to break the cycle of bloodshed. I make the decisions here, not you.
Compassion for the snake. He killed our beloved. Our weeds tangled.
It reminds
This
me
is
of
not our way.
the villain in Mass Effect 1, the the big plant thing.
In the dark when your soul slipped away. We feared for you, felt your agony. We could not forgive. We bide our time. We wait.
Said save that. We might need it someday.
Wake now. We have tending to do.
I do not trust whatever this voice is in my head, and if I can kill it, I'm going to. I don't trust it. I don't want anything from it. Like, it's not just reincarnating you for funsies, you know? Let's see if I can go find the cartographer really quick. Because I'm a little stronger now. I think I could probably do that. Yeah, the hockey stuff was trending on Twitter. I'm from Canada. I haven't watched hockey in a while. Whoops. And I haven't watched hockey in a while, but I watched that.
Seen it all?
What?
Except I've never seen exactly that.
Was that it? Kill the yellow bands. Where are the yellow bands? Like over here? Let's go figure out if we can kill these guys. Or if I'm still too underpowered.
Unseen, unknown.
Alright. Well, we know the way out. Can I talk to him or no? Is that a dragon? The bear. I'm not worried about the bear. Honestly, you know what I'm worried about? The archers. Alright, let's do it. Whoa, what? We're bad guys.
We're on your right. Right there. Don't mess with us.
Oh, hello. All right, some combat. Yeah, the AI is not the best.
That's more like it. Coming from your right. Find some better armor. Let's see what you got.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, so that guy should be scared of probably. Alright, alright. Lots of bears. How am I doing on health? And the bears. The archers mess with me more than the animals. Like, I can just ring around the rosy with these guys. That's a lot of orange loot. See, I just kind of stun log him. This could be bad, though. So this is the only... The only part that I feel a little cheap about. Oh, what? They have, like, magic shooting ability? I'm gonna play it cheap. Yeah, the shield bash is fun. People were saying the combat's not great. I like the combat. Aw, dang it. I think I'm poisoned or something. Let's do it the cheap way. I have... Alright, that's one bear down. We can solo this now. Alright, what we got? Yeah, plus I have ice. Yeah, you can get up. Get up, guys.
You're a good friend. Hey, over here.
I'm just gonna use my teammates. We're good.
Been seeing a lot more bandits.
Yeah, this is Avowed, JB.
Nice job, everyone.
I did it really cheap. I think I'm underleveled for the area, but they weren't that tough. Oh, what's this? Money, money, money. Money. I do feel like it's a little, like, too tight with the camera. Might change that later on. Who in chat is playing Avowed, and what do you think? Yeah, I like the pistol. I have the pistols. I have the starter pistols.
Not sure who lived here before. Looks like something you'd see in Emerald Stair.
Is there any loot I missed? This is just another entrance route. Where was that big guy I killed? Oh yeah, Travis highlighted this in his review, I think. There's an issue with disappearing corpses. Oh, there's this chest. Oh, I'm not gonna lockpick it. This game looks really good. How do you compare it to games like Baldur's Gate 3 or Dragon's Dogma 2? Not as good as Baldur's Gate 3, but I like it. Like, it's fun. I think a lot of the writing is intriguing. Like, I like the story that they tell. I think it's not as deep as some of the other games that people have been playing lately. Like, Baldur's Gate is a good example. But I don't think it's bad either. So I'm throwing in a quest here somewhere. We'll just fast travel. So this is a big story beat, and we're about 6 minutes out. Do you, before the stream ends, do you want to watch this story beat, or should I stop the stream before I do the big story beat? Because this is a main quest that I'm completing.
A captain from a Valian trading company seeks a criminal known as Crytek. Crytek and his crew are believed armed and deadly. Fisherman missing. Last seen near the watermill, northwest of the river.
Also, the game has a map on like Starfield. Keep it going. All right. So we just went to the town. Let's go finish it out. Let's see what this is all about. Apparently, I finished the bounty on accident.
Envoy. Show it here.
Oh, yellow
It's a
bands.
shame it had to be
That was
like
just a
this.
bounty.
Desperate times can drive good kith to do terrible things.
Bye.
Be safe out there. You hear?
Ching. All right, where was that main story beat? Quest, Precious Light. Speak to the locals about where to find something, something.
Well, I can't say I've met one like you before, but I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Any dwarven smugglers come by here recently? They might have seemed a bit
Did
concerned.
Remio put you up to this? That cad, always trying to rile me up. No, you should probably find Adelgund, that absolute hag. She's probably
I don't know what this
wandered
story
off
is.
to the Western Gate, attracted to the hubbub from earlier.
All right, I just want to go to the main story quest. Let's go to my journal. We're going to mark an untimely end. It's 152 that way. Revenue isn't profit. Andrew, I think you're way behind on the stream. Thank you, Andrew. It's funny. You can sometimes tell when somebody's watching like an older version of the stream because they're like responding to stuff I said 2 hours ago.
Oh, Envoy, you return. And you brought a friend. Ambassador Hugh.
This guy's gonna betray me, of course.
Always nice to meet an Adiran who isn't trying to goad me into a fight.
What of these
I think I'm about to unlock the next
streets
section.
are full of rumors, but your word is the only one I trust.
I killed them. The rebels have a lair under the temple. If you hurry, you can catch them by surprise.
And with the assurances you gave them, I doubt they're expecting another surprise visit.
Remind me to look twice at any promises you make from now on.
Inquisitor Ludwig will see that the guilty are made an example of. It'll be a lesson that no one forgets.
Why do I feel like Ludwig's lessons involve a riding crop and an Iron Maiden? Right. Let's move on from that scenario as quickly as possible.
Thank you,
Impressive
yo.
work, Envoy. Not only have
1,500.
Let's
Let's go.
Humbled your own killer. From this day forth, no one will challenge our presence in the living lands. Our people are here to stay.
I wanted the assassin in my back pocket. I brought him in alive. Let's talk about my payment. Now I must turn my attention to the Green Scourge. Many of the locals don't seem to want us here. I want more
the
money.
Mercenary. I keep a little extra coin
That's
set
it.
aside for special occasions. You've more than earned it. Now the Emperor wants you to investigate the Dream Scourge. And I have no wish to delay you any further.
Get that money.
I'm sending you to Fior Messi Verno, a community of Valian expatriates deep in Emerald Stair. The Animancers may have some knowledge of the Dream Scourge already.
Man, I
Learn
might have to
whatever
play
you
this
can
one
from
tonight. I am having a good time.
Nor should you be. Animancers draw power from the spirit world.
Okay.
Dark research can twist, break, and even corrupt the very soul. The Empire has no tolerance.
Thanks,
for
Diablo.
animancers.
Thanks for hanging out.
Good reason.
And
Their
asking
work
good
is
questions. I
dangerous,
appreciate it.
Heretical.
All right, I'm ready.
Governor Vidaro will be your first point of contact. I'm told he's barely keeping the community in order. Seek him out if you
I
need
bet they're
direction.
sending me to that other town.
Good hunting, envoy.
Oh, what's this? It's the assassin. I got paid. You got the Soul Reaver. Damn. Filleroni, thank you. Oh, hell yeah.
Hilgard. Why is it that whenever I hear your name, it's because you've disgraced the Empire?
I want that sword.
Strangling light, keep her away.
Filleroni, thank you, thank you.
Her. Inquisitor Ludwig. So kind of you to join us.
While you brood over the dreams,
I want that mask.
apart at the seams.
That character looks so
Stay
cool.
your wrath. Allow me to present the Adiran envoy, dispatched by the Emperor himself.
I want the Soul Reaver.
To aid us in our time of need.
Do I know you? Perhaps we did. Much has changed since we last saw each other.
You're a skeleton, I know.
I am both more and less than I used to be. And you. There is a dim corner of my memory that you occupy. Old feelings I thought long since banished. I will observe you with interest after I am finished with the ambassador. I can't believe you troubled the Emperor to send an envoy. Haven't you done enough to flaunt your incompetence?
Under the circumstances, I thought it might be...
Silence. You busy yourself with the dream scourge. A mere fever and chills, leaving the real work to me.
I've experienced the horror of the dream scourge firsthand. We must stop it before it spreads. Sure.
Even if that were to happen, the living will replace the
That armor is sick. It's pretty
We
close to what I
ship
have, but I don't
them
have a
in by
mask.
the hundreds to fill the empty houses.
They don't show my
Gods,
character very
Ludwig.
much.
I have scoured this island and faced the truths from which you cower. The Living Lands is on the brink of total collapse. And
That
you-
mask comes with the
you
collector's
have
edition.
ignored
I did not get a
discontent
collector's
in your
edition.
own city. Our envoy brought the killer to justice and paradise to order, which is more than you've done in years.
Oh, the subtitles
You
keep
don't
turning
waste
off.
time, do you?
We should be using this opportunity, not squandering it. What say you?
No, I don't have a 59. I wish I could buy a 5090. I can't get one.
I've been saying this all along, but his solution was to go over my head, to summon help from across the known world.
If you're done eviscerating me, you'll be interested to learn I'm sending the envoy to the Animancers of Emerald Stair.
You are ridiculous. Emerald Stair is under assault by the very wilderness it claims to have conquered. The Animancers cling to pride and tradition even as they dig their own graves.
We have to get help somewhere. The Living Land needs us. Maybe my influence can help steer them in a better direction. Animancy could help us fight the Dream Scourge.
Wielded in the
Bingo.
wrong hands, it could also destroy everything we've built here. Clearly, I've wasted my time with you, Ambassador. From now on, I will break the frontier on my own terms. You are free to disagree with my methods, but you cannot stop me. As for you, Envoy, farewell. This reunion was unexpected, but not unwelcome.
Yeah, I heard about the power cable issue.
He played him right into the steel Garot's hand. Let's hope this doesn't come back to bite us.
That was dramatic.
She is going to be a problem. Sometimes I wonder. Put her out of your mind. The Dream Scourge is more than enough for us to chew on, at least for now. Oh, before I forget, Liviana gave you a clean bill of health. You're cleared to leave
Just
for
turn
Emerald
off subtitles.
Stair.
Leave them on.
Fair warning, Animancers and Adirians don't mix well. Their kind can be a tad unhinged.
My character looks cool. It just needs the mask. I need the cool mask.
Well, in that case, you should fit right in.
They're a fun bunch. Crazy, but fun.
Wonderful. Now I have to keep a tight grip on my soul on top of everything else.
Should you cross
Get it.
paths with Ludwig, well, try not to. I have no idea what's gotten into her. Safe travels. I'm told Emerald Stair is beautiful this time of year.
Great.
We're done here. We can get to Emerald Stair in no time if we leave now.
Marius wants to talk to me at camp. Where's Emerald Stair? Yep. But is that the main one? The animancy method. It says it's super hard. Like, I don't... What am I supposed to do? Let's go to the camp. There's a camp halfway there. I couldn't find the dude's ring in the sewer. Does anybody in chat know where the ring is? That's the only quest I couldn't finish in the main area. Really, it drove me crazy. All right. So I'm going to save there. Thanks, everybody. That was a fun stream. I'm going to enjoy the conversation with Marius or whatever. So, real quick, I am going to have to update this screen very soon. We got a bunch of new members today. So, let's do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. Let's get back to it. All right, I'll put that in the middle, and then... Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like my content, again, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. I do greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And a huge thank you to the members. If you want to support this channel, you can do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/SaveStatePlus, or you can become a member on YouTube. Thank you so much to the top supporters: Christopher, Eddie, Inner Machine, Philaroni, Savage, Spingeter, and the Scarecrow 121. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to see more of my content, of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. But you could also check out this video right here where I talked about my impressions of Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye for now.